No, after. Welcome to Hardly Initiated. This is your host, Tyshawn Jackson, and I'm in here with my co-host, Ryan Ketchens.
What's poppin'?
And today, we talking politics, family. We went ahead and found y'all some beautiful black conservative women. I don't know if y'all know.
I don't know if they're ready for this one.
Pop and politics in the building. I'm in here with Nicole, Shelly, and KJ, and we talking the election aftermath. Let's get to it.
Let us know what y'all think about that intro, too. That's that new joint.
It's that new joint. Y'all, we just trying to get better.
Yeah.
Y'all already know what we doing. Welcome to Hardly Initiated. It's a special night here tonight. All month here, we celebrating Hardly Initiated's 3-year anniversary.
Incredible.
And tonight, the goal is to get 400,000 subscribers tonight, y'all. So I need everybody to start off and pop off hitting that subscriber button.
That's going to be light, though, because we had 397,753. So that's light.
Bam. So
Yeah.
y'all go ahead and make sure that happens. We'll be announcing that where we at throughout the show. And everybody drop the politics in the chat. Y'all have been asking us to do politics for quite some time. Y'all remember, shout out, if y'all was here for election week, also put a me in the chat if you was here, because that was a very special week.
We did a 6-hour stream.
First ever 6-hour stream.
We ate chicken. Ordered buckets of chicken.
Yeah.
During the stream. That was crazy.
Absolutely. The people fed us. They sent their super chats in and got us a bucket of chicken that night. And we
needed that, though. We
Absolutely.
put in that work.
We went full Negro that night. It was crazy.
Guys, don't forget, let your voice be heard. We are highlighting the super chats all night. So shout out to Delano who's holding us down. Any super chat over $20 will be read live on air. And guys, we're doing something very special because we have these 3 powerful ladies on the platform. But this is the thing. We want you to dial in whether you agree. Matter of fact, not even if you agree. If you agree, you can still call in. We prefer if you disagree with any views or statements made on tonight's broadcast, we are opening the hotline all night for you to join at the end of each segment, and we're going to get what you think about what's being stated tonight.
Absolutely. So go ahead and get your camera phones on. All right. And if you got them in-home studios, shout out to my people that got them in-home studios. Go ahead and hop in-home studio here because you will be a part of the conversation here tonight. But let's get to my beautiful guest here.
Let's do it.
Poppin' Politics live from Baltimore, Maryland. Let me tell y'all something. I see what y'all are watching on you guys' channel. We always looking at our statistics, and these sisters are some of the sisters that y'all are looking at.
That's how I found them.
Absolutely. Poppin' Politics are out here providing us conservative commentary and analysis on trending and local national headlines. And when I tell you, these sisters, they are out here going live Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday nights on YouTube. And tonight they are with us on this Wednesday night on Hardly Initiated. Welcome, ladies, to the platform.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, happy to be here.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. We're going to have a great conversation tonight. So everybody go ahead and get geared up. What I want to do before we actually get into the conversation, we doing a special giveaway for the family. So Ryan, let the people know what we're doing.
So guys, we teamed up with Cindy Trim to do a very special giveaway this month. We are giving away 2 preferred tickets, and these are VIP tickets to her End Your Year Strong 2024 conference here in Atlanta, December 6th through the 7th. Guys, we already got 2 winners, which I'm announced, but we're going to give you 5 lucky people 2 tickets. That's for you and a friend, you and a companion, you and whoever you want to bring with you. And guys, this is the thing. We will not include any travel accommodations, okay? So as long as you can afford your way out here, whether you're already in Atlanta or you travel, as long as you can afford your way out here, we will absolutely take care of the rest. And I want to go ahead and announce these 2 winners. We got Tina B. And we got Kimona L. Now, I don't want to give out their last name because, we people trying to look people up.
Right.
But these are 2 winners. One of them, Kimona, she's already emailed us back and accepted her tickets. Tina, listen, hopefully you got 48 hours. We have already emailed you early this afternoon. You got 48 hours to respond to this message, or we're going to have to get those 2 tickets away. And the last thing, guys, we're going to continue to announce winners really every show up until the actual event. So be patient for that, but we're looking out for y'all. All you got to do is click the link in the description, give us your name and your phone number. I think maybe like one more thing, maybe like an email. It takes 20 seconds, guys, and you will absolutely qualify to win.
There you have it. Well, we got the sisters in here. Before we actually get, deep into some of the topics that we have, I got to get to know you ladies a little better. And I want to make sure the audience gets to know you ladies as well. Okay. So let's actually talk here, because when we talk about, black women voting conservative, we looked at the stats. This is not something that's common. It ain't a bunch of black women voting conservative. So y'all are in a very small group of women that are voting conservative. Is this something that's always happened? Have you ladies always voted conservatively, or did you go from blue to red?
Well, I went from blue to red. So I have grown up in a family of Democrats. My whole family is Democrat. I was Democrat. I've been Democrat for most of my life. And then I had a wake-up call when Bernie Sanders was running against Hillary Clinton. I was a Bernie girl, supporting Bernie Sanders. I even worked on his campaign. And when it came out that the primary was geared or kind of fixed for Hillary to win, I got disenfranchised. And so I was just turned off by politics altogether. And so at that point, I started to let me look into some things. Let me just see what else is out there. And I won't go tie you up too long, but I was up one night late watching TV, just flicking through, and I came across a Black History program, and it was run by Glenn Beck. So I don't know if anybody knows who he is, but he is a conservative pundit. He was at the time on Fox News, but the program he was running at the time was talking about how African Americans in history have not been given their due credit for many things that have occurred in the United States. And so when I initially saw him talking about this, I'm like, what is he doing talking about that? He's a racist. This guy, he's a racist on the right, racist guy, whatever. And so when I saw that and I saw that what he was doing, I said, well, let me check him out. So then I went to his website and I started looking into him, and I realized, hey, this guy, he's a Bible believing Christian. A lot of the stuff he was talking about was, it was conservative, but it was about the Bible and Christianity and, family and things like that. And I just got hooked, and he was breaking down things. And I'm like, I agree with him. I agree with a lot of things he said. I agree that men should lead the household. I agree that God is the head of our lives. And then it's men, the husband, and then it's the children, wife and then children. I agree that, more money should be put in my pocket, less taxes. I think I agree in 2A, that we should have the right to bear arms and things like that. And so ever since then, it opened me up. I started researching more and more, and I'm on the right now. I'm a conservative. I'm a Republican.
Incredible. Now, before we move to Nicole, KJ, let us know how active you are in politics right now.
I'm pretty active. So, we have Poppin' Politics here on YouTube, where we talk about news and pop culture from a conservative perspective. Shout out to all the poppies who are watching tonight. Definitely hit that thumbs up and, chat about this as we go through the night. I'm also very active here in Baltimore City. So, Baltimore City is leftist, but we do as much as we can within the city to move them to the right. I am currently the first vice chair of the Baltimore City Republican Party. I'm also a member of the Maryland Black Republican Council. So that's pretty much where I lean. And I have a media company, Metro Conservative Media, that I co-founded, where it's our mission to spread conservative content throughout.
Wow.
There you have it. You have it.
And Nicole, tell us a little bit about your history with being conservative leaning. How long has it been?
My entire life. I was born born a conservative. My father and my grandfather, both conservatives. So I am what they call a Rush baby. We grew up listening to Rush Limbaugh on the radio whenever we were in the car with our parents. So my existence in politics started maybe when I was 12 or 13. I would summer in Dallas with my grandmother. A lot of people on the East Coast do that, send their kids down south in the summertime to keep you out of trouble. Well, when I was down there, I worked to open ballots during the election season and knock doors and do commercials and all of the kind of things that political operatives do when they're much older than I was. But I was definitely one of those kids who got after it very young and have really stayed very active in the conservative community.
There you have it. There you have it. And, it's interesting because Shelly, you're here as well. Do you have a similar experience with growing up a conservative as well?
Actually, I don't. I think as much as I think about it, I'm probably the only one in my family that I can think of that is politically active and certainly on the conservative or on the right side, if you will. I have been a conservative on the right, Republican. I've gone from libertarian. Now, when I first started voting, I voted as a Democrat the very first time. And I think that's the only time I voted Democrat. My wake up call, thankfully, was when I went into the military after high school. So when I came back home, I started, reading and I started comparing my experiences in the military with the people, with my soldier friends and things like that. And I'm like, well, something's not adding up. At least in the communities where I am or where I was. And I'm thinking we have all of this money, as far as politically speaking, all of this money, the power, Black people were being voted into office, but yet we still, as a community, we still endured a lot of the lower levels on the socioeconomic strata. So things just were not adding up for me. Once I started doing more research, reading things like that, I couldn't bring it to myself to vote basically what I call I'm voting to destroy my community. I'm voting against my own interests. So again, I have, pretty big family, extended family, and I think I'm the only one that is actively political and certainly on the right or Republican side. Now, keep in mind, again, I'm on the right. I love it. But I also wholeheartedly believe in some, I guess I would say, more small L libertarian values or principles. They certainly align more on the right. And some of them, people on the right may or may not agree with me, but I, as an individual, as an American, I'm going to stand there.
There you go. Stand on it. So I'm very excited to have you ladies be joining us here. Lana, can you pull up that graph that we had here? Because when you look at the voting, y'all are definitely
the minority.
A minority here. Because when we look at 2024, the percentage of Black women that actually voted for Trump looks like 7%. Actually went down 2% from the 2020 election. And I got the 7%ers right here sitting with me and talking to me. So what I want to ask is just what do you think? Because this is a large number. Like Black women more than anybody else voted blue. What are the primary factors influencing Black women's vote right now?
Yeah, I can start that off. I would say single motherhood. So not just single motherhood, but singledom in general is what's leading that. And we know this to be the case because that's what's leading our communities. Men don't lead our community, women lead our community, and it's not a good thing. I'm all for, strong women and things like that. But we find within the Black community, we are led by women. And when you couple that with the Democrats and how they push social policies, how they push government assistance on our community, what winds up happening is a lot of women believe that this government assistance is the key to their not just political but cultural future. And so they feel like they have to vote for that because of these social policies. Also, abortion. Although abortion only affects a small percentage of people in the United States, the Democrat Party made it that, and I'll say LGBT, made those two things their number one issues. And so because of that, unfortunately, a lot of us in our community, we abort a lot of our babies more so than any other demographic. And so those things, coupled together are some of the things why a lot of Black women vote Democrat. It's sad. It hurts me to say it. It pains me to say it. But
can I add to that?
Yes, of course.
I would like to add to what KJ said.
Absolutely.
I'm going to add that the church, or the Black church, plays a huge role in that over time, certainly since post Reconstruction, in the 60s, even more so, certainly since the Black church has really become what I'm going to call an entertainment industry, or an entertainment ministry with the overlay of some spirituality, fizzled in. I think the Black church promulgates a lot of the social policies that the Democrat Party, we talk about separation of church and state. No. In the Black community, politics and religion literally go hand in hand in many of these what we call Black churches. So the church is a huge microphone in the Black community, and the Black community, again, by and large, generally speaking, relies on, listens to, believes in the church. Fine, but what is the church actually putting out? That is the key.
So can I add a different perspective?
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to ask a follow-up really quickly before you chime in, Nicole. I want to know, what do you think, Shelley, what do you think the church's role in politics should be?
I think the church's role in politics should just be not just, but to be able to compare and contrast the policies that are going to be affected in the community. For instance, KJ mentioned abortion. While you might have a church, you might say, okay, it's wrong to abort your baby. Or what party is putting forth this policy, and how is it going to affect our community? What does it mean? What about the women, not even to mention, God forbid, the babies that are being destroyed, the lives that are being destroyed. Many people in churches today, many women, have had an abortion. So let's talk about the reality of that. Yes, you could say it's wrong. You could say it's unbiblical. It's unchristian. Let's talk about where it really gets down and affects people's lives. None of these churches, if you will, none of these people call up on the pulpit or talk about the women who have had abortions and how they utterly regret their decision. So it's all made to be pretty, and it's all made to, be emotionally salient or, favorable. But let's talk about how these policies, even if it's not abortion, how they are going to get down to the nitty gritty and affect what I call real people in real time, in real life.
Wow. And Nicole, I think you had something to add to that.
Yeah. The Black church used to be the base of our community. It was community forward. Where we are now with Black churches, it's entertainment with an overlay of spirituality. I agree 100% with you, Shelley. But, I dare you to find a Black church that's even preaching about abortion. I dare you to find a Black church where they're talking about, okay, you've made this decision and this was the outcome. And how do we get you not to make that decision again? What are you missing socioeconomically so that you can actually walk into a situation with a person that you're dating, if you want to move into marriage, if you want to, maybe just have the baby and co-parent that child, are they offering that option? Mostly what you hear in churches, tithes, offerings, there's some really good music, take nothing away from it, maybe a little scripture thrown in, but are we really building communities in our churches anymore? I dare say we're not. But back to the original question about Black women and voting, I think so many Black women vote Democrat because of power. And you see it especially in women who make a certain income. If you're in that $200,000 or above tax bracket, they very much feel like it's a very elitist organization and one of the things that they should belong to. It's unfortunate from a political standpoint that the Republican Party doesn't have more Black women out front. The Black women who are in leadership are not out front. And because of that, when you say Condoleezza Rice, most people go, who? They have no idea. They have no idea that Condi Rice is, when I tell you this woman is absolutely badass, she gets up in the morning and the stars just shine on her. This woman is amazing. But we don't learn about that. We don't learn about that because she's a conservative person. But you can talk about Kamala Harris, you can talk about Donna Brazile, you can talk about Michelle Obama. They have more Black women in the forefront, and that is very attractive to other Black women. It gives them something to aspire to.
I've never considered that.
You know what? That makes a lot of sense to me, because even the way most Black women talk about the conservative party is that it's almost as if the conservative party is anti-Black woman. You know, like it's just a racist division of our government, and it's designed to generally enslave us. For the people who are just generally think that they can never vote for the racist party of the Republican, or just believe that the Republican is a more racist party altogether, what would you say to that?
First of all, this is not your grandpa's GOP. Let's just put that out there. There are so many Black conservatives. In fact, that was my campaign line the very first time I ran for a vice chair position. It is overwhelmingly male. Make no mistake. It is very much overwhelmingly white, but we're working hard every day to bring people into the fold. Not into the fold based on their race, not into the fold based on their sex, but our common ground on economics, some moral aptitude, because, you know, we're people just like everybody else and we don't live in a vacuum. But I feel like we have more to offer than just the party of old white men. We have so much more to offer than that. And again, I say the party does a really bad marketing job of putting out faces and people who are very different than what the norm says.
Yeah. May I? I'm sorry.
Of course.
Shirley, you ain't got to ask.
Jump
in there.
It's a conversation. You good.
To answer your question, I would talk to people who have said that. I know people approach me and ask me, you know, well, or say the Republican Party is racist, you know. Well, I would say, okay, you want to talk about going back into slavery? Who was, or what was the party that got your ass, I'm sorry, out?
No, you good.
You haven't.
They talk about that. You don't, who is the party that wants to keep you on welfare? Who's the party that advocates for policies that keep your children uneducated? These are real data, if you will, or real experiences. Who's the party that wants to take more and more and more of your taxes, your hard-earned money, and use it for things that you wouldn't even support if you had to donate for it? So let's be real. Let's talk about the reality. You're not in slavery, thankfully, because of the Republican Party, the same party that we literally fought a civil war over against our brothers and sisters in the South to bring your butt out of slavery. These are the same people. You talk about their races. What are they racist about? Are they individual races? Absolutely. That's going to be anywhere and everywhere. And when we do meet them, I'm talking about us three, we certainly call them out. Okay, we have no problem doing that. We don't deny that. But as a party and the policies that will affect your day-to-day life, literally the economy, the education, how you live, where you live, even down to what you drive, let's be real. It's not the Republican Party that's doing those things.
And let me add, you know, I as you guys heard in the beginning of the broadcast, I was a Democrat for most of my life, and I became a Republican within the last several years. But I've always been political. And as a Democrat being political, I never received backlash, you know, hate from Republicans. But once I became a Black Republican, I have never in my life received such racism from white liberals, such hate from people. We constantly get emails, hate mail on social media, via email. I mean, we work at the local festivals here in Baltimore City. White women come up and say all types of nasty things to us. You know, they hate to see a Black conservative because they know they cannot tell us what to do. We'll meet you there, fact on fact, data on data. You want to run statistics, we're there for you. You're not going to manipulate us and intimidate us by emotionalism and things like that. They can't stand to see a Black conservative because they know that they cannot manipulate us emotionally like they do the rest of our community, unfortunately.
Wow. So I mean that's a really bold statement, because I don't think a lot of people, it's it's interesting because I don't think a lot of people consider the Democratic Party as racist. So saying that you experience racism from the white liberals, that's a plot twist from what we typically hear again.
I agree with that.
In the airways.
We had a Blacks for Trump bus tour. The Black Conservative Federation went to battleground states, and we were warmly received in every state except for Maryland. We stopped to get gas in Hagerstown, and this guy came off the highway. He was honking his horn and flipping the bird and all this other stuff. And it was myself and a bunch of other men on the bus. BCF is a male-dominated organization, and he had a whole lot to say. I went out, I was like, is there a problem? I'm thinking, like, did we cut you off? What's going on? And he's like, how dare you support Donald Trump? How dare you? And I'm looking around like, am I being punked? I mean, is he for real? Like, you have no control over my vote. You don't get to tell me how to vote, when I vote, none of this. This is not 1920, babe. We don't do that anymore here. In fact, let me get you some literature and perhaps a little Xanax to relax yourself, because he was foaming at the mouth. He was so angry that one of the people who were on the bus, his name is Larry. Larry came off the bus. Larry's from Florida, big hunking guy. And Larry's like, are you going to be okay with this guy? I said, I have no fear of this man. I said, but he is absolutely losing his mind. He's like, it's people like you, the reason why this country is behind. I said, what are you talking about? The country's behind because your president's bad economy. It has nothing to do with me. I get to think the way I want to. You don't have a say in that. You don't have to like it, but you don't get a say in that. And I know that rubs you wrong. Your paternalistic school of thought is being challenged, but you're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. Get your gas and go about your life. And we're going to take this bus and win this election, precisely what we did.
And I want to remind everybody here, one second, I'm going to let you come in here, but I want to remind everybody, we're going to let you jump in here in just a few. So come backstage if you have any
Gotta turn the camera on.
Absolutely. Turn your camera on, come backstage, because I want people that have any difference of opinion that want to come up and share their thoughts on this subject in particular. We've dropped the link in the chat so you can go ahead and join. I got a question right after you. Go ahead, sister. Go ahead.
We have to think about this. So the Democrat Party primarily runs on social programs, which they claim are to help, our community. But really, it's a grift. It's a way to funnel money to Democrat and leftist elites to keep them in power. And we saw this by Kamala Harris's campaign contributions that were made public by the FCC. She raised the most money in the shortest period of time. $1.5 billion this woman raised. And this tell you, thank God she didn't make it to the presidency, because she's a poor steward of her money. But I mean, she gave millions to Roland Martin, to Beyonce, Oprah, and all these other organizations. She pretty much paid them off to hand her softball questions in most of her interviews, to give her good press and things like this. This is what they do. Same thing with the border. Why do you think that they want a wide open border that is totally decimating many of our communities, social services and things like that? New York, Baltimore, Philly, taking away jobs and things like that, because they want the votes. They're trying to manipulate these people that are coming here illegally so they can get them to vote. And hopefully, because they like people who aren't good on the issues. Anyone they can manipulate to just vote for them, to just sign your name on the dotted line, and they'll put the Democrat on there and go ahead and put it in the vote. That's what they want. They don't want people who can think for themselves. They don't want you to be free, individual and independent thought. They don't want that. And so this is what it is. This is the grift of the Democrat Party. And again, I know we're going to get in a little later. It's actually communist. It's Marxism. That's
wow.
what it is.
We got to talk about that in just a few. Guys, somebody send this to Roland Martin. We've been trying to get Roland Martin on the show. Tell him to come up and battle these ladies right now. They might take him out. Shout out to Chadwick Reason Frazier, who sent us over a super chat, says, "Good evening, ladies of pop and politics. The freedom seekers are in the house tonight. Be careful, gentlemen. These ladies are final boss level politically." Incredible.
Final boss.
That's what I'm saying. The passion is incredible. I really love that, ladies. Can we bring somebody up real quick? Can we bring our first person up? And I want to bring somebody specifically that disagrees.
Absolutely. But we got some people backstage.
Yeah, bring somebody up.
Absolutely.
And I want you guys, if you're in the Zoom chat, go ahead and drop in the chat where you stand. Because if you stand already on the conservative, conservative leaning, we'll bring you up. We really don't want to. We want to bring up somebody who thinks completely different than these ladies. Bring somebody up, Lana. What we got?
There you go.
Hey, what's up, Monica? Welcome to the show. How you doing?
You got to unmute
Bring
yourself,
off mute.
Monica. You got to unmute yourself.
Here I am. Hi, everyone.
What's up, Monica?
What's up, Monica?
Listen,
How are you?
We love that smile. Give us your name and your location and what side you on.
My name is
Oh,
Monica.
and
I'm
wait,
here
you
in
got to turn the show
California.
off in your back. To make sure you turn the show off
Okay.
in
I'm
the background.
So sorry. Sure. I got you right now. There we go. Are we good?
We good.
There you go.
Okay. Thank you, guys. Thank you for being so patient. I did not get a chance to note that I was actually for these ladies and how excited I am for you guys to show. You guys have been doing some amazing topics. So I just want to tell you guys that.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much for that. But I just want these ladies know the comment I wanted to make.
So hold
briefly,
on. Name,
Okay.
location.
Oh, my name is. Oh, sure. My name is Monica,
She's in
and I'm
Cali.
in California.
Okay.
I'm in California.
Monica.
Yep, I'm in very liberal California. So yeah, I'm a loner out here
Wow.
and fighting the good fight. But all this to say, but guys, there's some changes happening here. But all that to say this really quick, just because I want to move on to the next person. Ladies, thank you so much for what you're doing. But I also pretty much agree on the reality that I feel like our community struggles separating ourselves from the goal, which is what we want better for our community. I think we're more interested in making history and less about the policies and the plans and what's best for our community. So I'm so glad you're making a note of this and communicating that, because obviously we made the same mistakes in the past with Obama. And I just heard the same from similar people within my own community, ladies, that are more interested in putting a Black woman in the White House instead of actually putting someone capable to do the job. So I'd like for that to change amongst our community. I really would. So that's it, girls. Thank you so much. And thank you much for letting me on. Bye,
We
guys.
appreciate you.
Thank you.
It's so wild to hear her say that, because most of the ladies I speak to, well, when I speak to Black women, one, they seem to be very conservative. Like they anti-abortion access unless in, specific cases. They are anti-LGBTQ, but they're like, yo, Trump is racist. I would never vote for him. And they even say that, the Republican Party is against Black community. So to have that young lady come up and say the exact opposite really blows my mind.
No, that's 100% true. Do we have anybody else backstage, Lano? We do. Okay.
Turn your cameras on,
you're
guys.
If your cameras are not on backstage, you won't get up. In fact, while everybody backstage is getting it together, I wanna ask this question here before we actually transition to the next segment. Because why do you think? I know you ladies went into the black church. Why do you think the Black church is loyal to the Democratic Party? What's the link there?
That's easy. Power, money, control. To put it simply, translation, kickbacks. Kickbacks. Not only that, many churches have an IRS status, 501c3, 3c. So in order to maintain that status, if you will, there are certain things that they won't say to maintain the status, but yet they will allow typically Black politicians, Democratic politicians, to come in and say and promote all kinds of stuff. So they don't want to rock the boat too much, because that's where their livelihood comes from. I have a problem with that in as much as the policy is related, but the kickbacks, I contend that churches by and large should not even be IRS 501c3. Raise your money and get your quote unquote power and control from your constituents or your parishioners. That's how you get that. Leave the tax part alone. Stand on your own, or fall, if you will, on your own strength of your people that you are promoting and preaching to.
Wow.
Listen, I think it's also a legacy of that civil rights victimhood movement thing. There was a time when the Black church was so very vital in helping us obtain those civil rights and keep those civil rights. And some churches have not made the transition from that legacy to where we are today. So you definitely see a divide where you have an older pastor of a church, and they're still kind of beating that drum. We have to vote Democrat. We got to vote like a block in order to get the things that we want in our community. And they're really not open to hearing other points of view. But when you look at some of the newer churches, especially the mega churches, where they have people who've had abortions, they may have parishioners who are gay and transgender and lesbian or non-binary or whatever that means, right? They have people in their churches who are not traditional Christians. So you see them a little bit shying away from politics because they don't want to offend anybody. They also shy away from the gospel because they don't want to offend anybody. So we're going through all of this with religion because are we really being fed in church? That's the question, right? Are you really being fed, or are they just stroking your ego, making you feel good, singing some good songs and pushing you out the door? That is the difference nowadays. It really is.
So you're really making a strong connection with how we're curving our political truth to also curving the truth of the gospel as well.
Oh yeah, we have become more like the culture and less like Christ. And that's the church wholeheartedly. But we know the Bible talks about this in days that there'll be a remnant, and this is how it would come out. But not only that, but the church has been infiltrated by the Communist Party. So communism and the Communist Party, that was one of their agendas back in the early 1900s, was to target Black churches as a means to manipulate and exploit the religious community. And so what they do is they prey on the trauma of slavery within our community. They manipulate that. They've infiltrated the church with people, what I say is people they put up to be pastors and elders in the church, when in reality, these people are really communist infiltrators that are using the Black community to sow division within the United States. It's clear as day. And we always talk about a book that we push on our show. I really encourage everyone to read it, called Color, Communism, and Common Sense by Manning Johnson. And he lays it out. He was a gentleman who was part of the Communist Party, a Black guy back in the 1930s. He left when he realized how communism, socialism, all of it was hurting the Black community. So, and it's really infiltrated the entire thing. And two, our community has began to idolize race. It has become idolatry within our community, and it's not of God. And unfortunately, it has taken hold in the church. I know people aren't going to want to hear this. There should be no Black church. Okay.
Wow.
There should be no Black church. It's one church. It's Jew and Gentile. There should be no Black church. We are the church. We, followers of Christ. So, but again, that's another way that they've sown division. We've sown in idolatry of race, and a lot of Black women idolize race.
Absolutely.
And that's not of God.
Hold on, wait. I want to talk about that, because how do we know that you idolize race? What does idolizing race look like?
Okay, can I give you some examples?
Maybe yes,
absolutely.
Examples? When you have, and I'm going to say Black people primarily, piggyback of what KJ was saying. When you have Black people, maybe Black women, when 99% of the conversation will kind of land up, oh, whitey this and whitey that, or those white people don't care about me, or what. It's somehow or another, there's a line, and it's always 99% of the time, white people are the cause or the reason. When I came out the military, when I went into the military, again, I'm born and raised in Baltimore. most of the community, the family members, things like that. I was raised not necessarily, it was just by osmosis. I was supposed to be a Democrat. And in many cases, the white man doesn't like you, or the white man wants to hold you back. Again, are there races? Absolutely. When I went into the military, and many of the people in my units, it didn't matter if they were white or black or Asian. We literally cared about each other. We covered each other. Okay. When we were out doing drills and training, it did not matter what our skin color was. And so when I came back home again, and I'm thinking things are not adding up, these people are not out to get me, so to speak. They're not walking around with KKK robes on, burning crosses, trying to keep a sister down. That was not the case. Again, that does not mean there is no racism. That does not mean that some people cannot be racist, white people. But guess what? Black people can be racist too. And no, it's not godly. It's not what the church is supposed to be in a religious sense. When you get to heaven, or whatever your belief system may be, when you get there, if you believe that God created everyone and everyone as a human being has dignity, do you not think that God knew what he was doing to make us all different shades?
Yeah.
Legitimate question.
So, this is interesting, because I think what our community is struggling with is figuring out how to obviously address racism, because I can 100% see how you can idolize it or have a distorted view of how racism is impacting your life, right? Mm-hmm. And even keep yourself potentially in a cage, because you might think that racism is having a glass ceiling, right, and use it as an excuse for progression. But I think obviously it's a genuine argument. Even go back to the Democrats, right? The crime bill that disproportionately locked people up. There's still a lot of disproportionate stats against black people. So I guess we're trying to find a healthy middle ground to still address and attack the evils of racism without making it an idol, to your point. Do you think we're even... Do you think us voting Democrat keeps us further? It sounds like what you're saying, to keep voting Democrat keeps us further away from getting out of that distorted view of racism, if I'm hearing you properly.
I think they use racism and color as a way to keep you voting Democrat, right? So when Kamala had a very short window, but politically, people don't realize this is the same Kamala Harris in 2019 that didn't get one person, Democrat, Republican, or anybody else, to vote for her. She was fourth in a poll.
Her own state didn't vote for her.
But when you look at it, behind Bernie Sanders, right, behind Joe Biden, behind Elizabeth Pocahontas Warren, there came Kamala Harris. So it really wasn't about the color of her skin for most voters. It was just, they don't like her. They don't like her for whatever reason. They don't like her politics. They didn't find her intelligent. They didn't find her articulate. None of that had to do anything with the color of her skin. All of it had to do with the content of her character and what she brought to the table. And I say that and people go, oh, no, it was absolutely her color. It was absolutely her color. No, it wasn't, because Black Democrats didn't vote for her then. So fast forward past, 3 years as vice president, and suddenly, we're supposed to fall for it. Well, she's Black, you got to vote for her. We didn't like her then, and we don't like her now. Nothing's changed. When Sunny Huston asked her that question, this was her moment to say exactly how she was different from Joe Biden, all the things that she was going to do differently, how she was going to help the African-American community, and she blew it. Nothing came to mind that she was going to do differently. Nothing.
So y'all getting heated up right now. So we should actually run that video in a second. Real quick, Lionel, bring somebody up real quick, and then we're going to run that video, because I want to talk about that.
Yep, absolutely. Who we got backstage? We got Ronnie?
What's up, Ronnie? Oh, man, Ronnie got the
setup back there. What's up with you, Ronnie?
Yeah, how y'all doing? Hardly initiated, man. Y'all been turning up. I'm proud of y'all, man. Y'all inspire me in so many ways, man.
Man, that means a lot. Thank you.
Ronnie, the first thing we got to do is we got to get you that fiber optics, because you looking staticky, pixelated as hell back there.
I don't know why. I'm usually I got it connected to the router through a cable wire. I have no clue why I'm so blurry.
Look, don't even worry about it, Ronnie. You sound great, Ronnie. If you can, give me your age, your location, and where you stand politically.
Okay, so I am 32 years old. I am in Atlanta, Georgia.
Dope.
Yeah, my name Ronnie, but I stand definitely. I'm telling you now, 8 years ago, if you would have asked me this question, because I used to make music, right? So the first time around, I was like, oh, if Trump wins, I'm leaving the country, and blah blah blah, all this nonsense. Now, 8 years later, I'm telling you, I'm out here like, listen, y'all got to wake up. We got to y'all cannot fall for this okie doke, man. You cannot
Wow.
fall for the same old thing that they've been giving us. But I definitely voted for Trump, loud and proud. And I'm telling you, my whole family I think my family almost disowned me when I told them I was voting for Trump. They almost snatched the last name off my name. I said I got to find a new last name. They mad at me.
Let me ask you this: why do you think that was so hurtful to your family?
What you said, brother?
I said, why do you think that was so hurtful to your family?
I think it's because I don't think they have done their research enough. I think it's the typical, like my mother being an apostle and being in the church so long, and my dad he was a gym teacher and all that stuff, and we're out of West Virginia. That's where I'm from. I'm from West Virginia, so we talking about 10% black folks, and I'm like, we fell for the okie doke once with the Obama move. Hey, vote for this, that, the identity politics and all that. But I said this time around, I'm going against everything, and I'm just voting for what I truly believe and what I've seen. And I'm like, one candidate is telling you one candidate has been there. We've gotten a car with this candidate, and he's drove us to, he's drove in the way. We getting in the car with this other one. We don't know really. She just came out of nowhere. I know some people might know her, but as far as I did, I was like, why are y'all going so hard for somebody you don't know? That confused me, and I'm like, hold on. And then we gonna fall for this again? Oh, you're black. You ain't black if you don't vote for this one or that one. I said, kill that black vote talk. All black folks ain't the same. That disturbed me more than anything, Joe Biden saying that, and then Obama coming out. Obama made it worse for everybody when he came out and said, black man, you need to do that. Oh, I felt disrespected. I said, hey, I told him I'd vote for Airbud if I like the way he barking. I'm like, listen, it's about policies. This has nothing to do with color. Like, I don't care what color, white, black, and sometimes they call Trump orange. I don't care. All right, I voted for the orange man. Cool. And I'll do his dance too. I'll hit his little dance while I'm in the, we'll hit the dance. They got everybody mad. The Trump dance got everybody mad. The sports people doing it, John Jones doing it, and they like, hey, can they get penalized for that? I said, oh my God. I'm like, yo, y'all are too soft for me. Y'all are way too soft. I grew up around hard. I mean, I'm talking about they would call you some stuff. We said some things when we was young to each other. And I'm like, we didn't get offended by it. Like, and I'm sorry to get off topic, but I just seen a woman go to jail because or get fined or something because she let her 10-year-old son walk a mile to the store. That blew my mind. I said, do you know where I was at when I was 10 years old? My mom seen me. They probably seen me in the morning and before I go to sleep. It was that simple.
Listen, thank you for your perspective here, brother. We're going to get over here to the next segment, but I appreciate you chiming in with your perspective, okay?
Yeah. I'm sorry about the quality, brother. I definitely, hopefully we'll get that fixing, but I'll be back, man. I watch y'all all the time.
Come back through.
Show, man, it's a blessing, man. Blessings to both of y'all and y'all show. I wish y'all the best, man.
Thank you, brother.
You so much. We appreciate you, man. He got that energy.
Absolutely. In fact, we actually, while we on topic, this is a video that we prepared. Right. We got something. Do we have any super chats before we move forward?
Yeah. We had one real quick. Let me see that, man. Where all the Harris supporters at? It's just like you can't find none.
Man,
we're trying to pull somebody on the chat.
Don't be scared in the chat, y'all.
Don't be scared at all. It's okay.
Scared,
we want to get your perspective. We got 1,200 people in the chat. Shout out to my channel, one of our new initiatives. They rocking that white badge. He says, he or she, our communities are in need of true deliverance. It does not matter about those in office. There is blood on both sides. There is a poverty mindset in most of the church, which is demonic. I think there's a poverty mindset in a lot of churches.
Man, honestly, I would agree with that. In fact, Lionel, let's go ahead and play that video that we prepared, okay?
Honestly feel like if you needed any confirmation that America does not like black women, the 2024 election is that for you.
Right.
Like, and people say, oh, it's not about race. This is 1,000% about race. Trump did not have a plan. He did not lay forth any policy. He didn't tell y'all what he was going to do. There was no next step, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. The only plan that he did lay out, which was Project 2025, he told you guys everything nefarious he would do.
And then said he had nothing to do with it.
And then tried to distance himself from it. So,
He did tell us what he was going to do, though. He told us he was going to deport. And people are with that. But some of the people who voted for it are going to be affected by it the most. And even for people who have, who's going to do certain work, for people that have these big corporations that hire, and they're going to feel the effects of that as well.
But you know what? I'm at the point that let them have it.
Right.
Y'all voted for him. You deal with the ramifications of what
and the
it is.
tariffs. People are realizing. There were people who did not realize that that's going to get passed on to the consumer. They thought the tariffs would be paid for by the foreign entities, just like people thought that, Trump thought Mexico was going to pay for the wall to get built.
Good luck. Everyone, I honestly feel like after this election, so many people, it's a numbers game. You saw that 92% of black women voted for Kamala Harris. At this point, we have done our jobs.
Yeah.
We did it. We delivered. We did what we were supposed to do. And guess what? Y'all wanted Trump. You can have him. Enjoy the next 4 years. Don't complain. Don't tweet. Don't say nothing.
Strong words from Dr. Wendy Osefo over on Angela Yee's podcast that was actually just released.
Shout out to both of them.
And this is a very common perspective that I'm hearing, from a lot of black women who get on social media and start speaking about their thoughts. So this actually is not unique.
It's typically those around those talking points. I think she brought up Project 2025, which is like that's been continuously brought up, particularly by black women. So, ladies, when you hear this, is Wendy stating the fact? And I want to get your general thoughts about what she's saying.
Well, no, Wendy's not stating facts. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Shelly.
No, Wendy's not stating facts. Wendy is emoting. She's emoting, number one, because the Democrat Party, Kamala Harris, lost. Okay? She's not stating facts. Trump has had a whole platform, and not only in 2024, but he had it in 2016 when he won the first time as well. This is a continuation of it. See, this is the problem when she said Trump has no program. Well, Kamala Harris didn't come out with a program for black men until about a month ago, before the election came up. This stuff that she invented out of whole cloth. Wendy Osefo, that's how you pronounce her name, I'm sorry. She's not telling the truth. Or let me say this. What she is saying, she actually believes that.
Right.
What she's saying, but it's still no less wrong.
Here's my thing with this. This is why we should have stopped this participation trophy crap when they pulled it out in schools, because no one knows how to take an L anymore. You lose, right? You cry, you get over it, give yourself 72 hours, you dust yourself off. You do an autopsy of that election cycle, figured out where you went wrong, make the corrections, and get back at it. I have not seen this amount of lamenting ever for any reason. It is boggling to me that people just don't know how to lose anymore. You lost, it's okay. But this thing with black women carried the ball, you voted just like every other American voted. No one asked you to pick up a candidate and drag them to the finish line. You cast your vote with a good conscience, just like the people who voted for Trump did. Politics is not a team sport. It's very individualistic. You vote your conscience, I vote mine. If my candidate wins, good for me. And listen, the tax cuts that are coming your way, you better believe I'm tweeting about it, and you can have some too. That's how that works, right? The deporting of illegal criminal aliens, make no mistake, that's going to make it good for everybody. And if there's a man in your life or a woman in your life that's a trade worker, a plumber, or works in construction, more than likely they've lost a job, or they know somebody who's lost their job to a company that's willing to hire illegals for pennies on a dollar. This is how this affects our community. So it can't be all about they don't like black women and they didn't vote for Kamala. Again, when Kamala ran the first time, y'all didn't like her. Democrats didn't like her and didn't vote for her. Nothing's changed. Nothing has changed. I need black women to get back to being who we are intuitively. Yes, we're nurturing, but there is no reason for us to think that we carry the entire nation. That's not what we do. We've never done that. Let's not start.
KJ, I want to get your thoughts on this as well, and I want to add this to it. Do you think that sort of declaration, America doesn't like black women, do you think that's harmful to future generations, or just to hearing that on such a large platform?
One, all I heard was tongue. Both of them have heavy tongues, and all I heard was tongue on that interview. That's number one. Number two, they're lying. And it's sad that the culture, which movies, Hollywood, church, everyone continues to push these lies to our community. So this is why it's important. Not only, and then another issue is, Black people in our communities, in the cities, the education systems in public schools are so poor that we're not even educating our youth in order to research this stuff. First of all, Project 2025 was not, Trump had nothing to do with it. We read it. We dissected the whole thing on our broadcast, Poppin' Politics on YouTube. We read it. It was a policy platform done by the Heritage Foundation, and they presented it to all candidates. Kamala Harris and Trump were presented with the Project 2025. It was up to them whether or not they would implement it in their administrations if they won. So,
KJ, can I jump in for just 1 second? As a Heritage member? Project 2025 is not a one-off. Heritage Foundation is a think tank. So traditionally what we do is we say, you have this blue sky moment. If you could do anything and there was no money associated with it, anything from being the most conservative person to the most liberal person, and write all of those policies and combine it, and it's available to legislators to come in and say, well, I don't really, abortion's not my topic, but I'll pick something middle of the road. It gives them a roadmap, some policy thought processes, talking points, if you will, to help them come up with policies that will work. So it's not new. It's not unique to 2025. Heritage has been putting out these type of projects for decades. It is simply what think tanks do. It's not new.
So have other think tanks. They do it all the time.
All the time.
Yeah. But she talked about also how Trump had no policies. That's funny. When Kamala Harris stole 2 of his, Trump was out campaigning about no tax on tips. And he was out, everybody knows he talked about the border wall. And then the next thing you knew, Kamala Harris was talking about it on in her rallies. And she had stolen his idea, the whole policy platform. And those were just 2 policy platforms. I'm so tired. I was talking to a guy, a family friend the other day, single guy. And he was talking about how he loves Black women, but he has actually had to turn away from Black women and he's actually going to Thailand to meet.
Oh, he passport bro right now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. And he doesn't want to do it. He doesn't want to do it, but he can't find a Black woman that's feminine. He can't find a Black woman that is not yapping back at him every 2 minutes, that's not out here hoeing around. He can't find it. And this is a nice looking guy. He's got a great job. But we have pushed this whole Black women in general, and especially leftist Black women. Fellas, if you're single, you need to find yourself a conservative Black woman. These leftist Black women, they're just terrible. They're terrible. And they're raising our girls to be the same. They're feminizing our boys. And it's just Angela's Yee show. Tell me if I'm going too far.
No, you're not going too far. Nothing's too far on the show.
Yee's show. I mean, she has on there people like Sexy Red, and all they do is talk about how many guys they can sleep with. She sprinkles a little bit of politics in there, and in the politics she talks about has no credibility, nothing to do with any type of data. They just throw out these accusations and things and have nothing to back it up with. It's just really sad where our community is going to. It's really
Ryan, can I add? You asked, was this going to hurt? I think you asked, was it going to hurt Black people or black children?
Yeah, like when
that,
women,
that kind of
exactly when other Black women see that, like, could that potentially be harmful?
Yes, I think it will. And let me say this. I think it's pretty much only going to hurt Black women because guess what? The rest of the world, the other ethnicities are going on. They're trying to build for their families or themselves. They're trying to get jobs and skills and get their children educated. They're trying to save money and maybe reduce their taxes. They're actually trying to do things that need to be done in order for them to have a productive and successful life. Black women who listen to the likes of Wendy and Angela are going to be in this mindset. Their mindset is going to be stuck, if you will, in a time period that does them no good, that we have long since come out of by and large, except again for the individual instances where we may encounter a racist person or a racist incident. Deal with it at that time. But what the Angela Yees and the Wendy Osefos of the world are doing, they are harming and stifling Black women, the same Black women that they believe that they are promoting and putting on a pedestal, if you will, to promote and be successful. But guess what? It's the same thinking or the same policies, the same mechanisms that the Democratic Party uses to hurt the people that they purport to protect. Black people, by and large. It's not working.
Can I jump in for just 1 second?
Yeah, of course.
From a political standpoint, Kamala Harris was not the first Black woman to ever run for the presidency. When you look back historically, the incomparable Shirley Chisholm. Here's a woman who, granted a Democrat, and I was born Republican, so forgive me that. But Shirley Chisholm was a powerhouse of a woman. She did not kowtow for anybody. And I would dare say in today's politics, she'd probably be a centrist, and definitely not someone who's an uber liberal person, but she was definitely a centrist. She ran and lost and continued to run and continued to legislate. Carol Moseley Braun. Let's talk about Donna Brazile, who is queen of everything Democrat, right? Donna Brazile said this about Kamala Harris. Here are things that you need to win. You need a message, you need money, and you need momentum. You have to have the combo. She just doesn't have the combo. That came out of Donna Brazile in 2019. Nothing's changed, especially coming out of Kamala's mouth. As she says, nothing's changed. She's still that same candidate. It has nothing to do with her skin color. I really wish she would come out as a woman of color and say, I tried, I did my best, and I'm going to keep trying. And that's the lesson in this. But what you do see in her is kind of like, everybody cry for me, I lost. Where's the spirit of Shirley? Because Shirley wouldn't have played it that way. We need her to be tougher than that, harder than that. And we need Black women that, I get it, you're sad, you feel like you lost something, and the culture turned its back on you. The truth of the matter is, Black women are very well educated in this nation. Migrant women who come here from other nations obtain very high levels of degrees, like Dr. Osefo. She's from Nigeria, right? So don't tell me America doesn't love Black women when you've benefited from everything that America has to offer.
Well, I think we got some people backstage. I want to go ahead and get some opinions on this one. Link is in the chat. If you want to come up here and give it, I want somebody with a difference of opinion here. I see, listen, I know everybody's in here agreeing. Or I've heard the opinions that have agreed. So I want to hear something a little bit different. Let's bring somebody up backstage and see what the thoughts are by the way.
1,300 people in the chat. Shout out to Chadwick, Reason Frazier again. Well, I'll read that one after this young lady.
There we go.
Hey, what's up? Welcome to the show.
Hello.
Can you please give me your name?
Dana.
There you go. Tina.
And Dana.
What's up, Dana?
Dana, what's up with you?
Just getting off work. I just had the feeling I needed to call in and speak to folks. So
there you go. Well, before you get into it, give me your age and your location.
I am 41 and I live in California.
Okay, so are you agreeing or disagreeing with what the sisters are saying right now?
I'm highly disagreeing. Well, not highly. Okay, let me start at the beginning, if I may.
Yep.
Okay, so let's do this. Let's start here because I want to get a focus point on this one here. What specific point here do you disagree with most that has been stated in what you've heard so far?
I can go through the list, but I wanted to start with just kind of identifying who's in the room because I missed the first part of the call. I was on my way home from work and I seen the stream and I'm like, hey, let me go check them out because I do watch you guys regularly.
Awesome.
And so I had a couple questions. So I wanted to identify myself as a voter. I did vote for Kamala Harris. I am registered independent. I have voted both conservative and Democrat and whatever. I haven't actually participated in politics for a long time after I voted for Bush. And I was like, oh God, that was a mistake. And so I stayed out of the game until this election. And I felt like we have to stop this. And so I felt like the choice was very binary in this. I felt like people were picking what they thought was their pocket versus people's rights. And let me just ask a couple questions.
Hold on. I really want to get an understanding here, Dana. Just to be clear, what exactly did you disagree with that was stated so far on the show?
Just about everything. I couldn't respond specifically because it's a lot of talking. I was like getting a little impatient. I was hoping to join in the conversation a little sooner. But I can just start with a few questions.
No, Dana.
Further.
Dana. I'm gonna ask you a few questions because I want to get your perspective. Because the most recent topic that we had on was we brought up Dr. Wendy on Angela Yee's podcast, and she pretty much stated that America does not like black women, and this previous election proved that. Would you agree in that sentiment that this election showed that where our country stands in its opinions about black women?
No, I don't think it's some kind of standard. Okay. Yes and no, I would say. But there is a reason why I say that, because it depends on who you are. The answer isn't the same for everyone. And so that's why I wanted to know who was in the room with me, because I needed to know, are you a faith believer? Are you not? Are you an atheist?
Well, no, Dana, listen, I want you to just give your opinion. Don't worry about who's in the room. I just want you to stand on what you stand on regardless. So I want to I really want to get your perspective on this. So it sounds like that wasn't your point of, can you just give me one point in particular that you actually disagree with and we can expound on that?
Could you repeat the thesis statement of the speaker earlier, Dr. Wendy?
Oh, you want to?
Please, I just want to respond again.
Yes.
So Wendy stated that America doesn't like black women. She mentioned that Project 2025 and increasing tariffs would be bad for your bottom line as a citizen.
She pretty much said black women is done. They did what they're supposed to do by voting for Kamala.
Yep. She said Trump had no political plans, and that the election was all about race.
Yeah, he did have political plans, and he talked to everybody about it. And he hid. I don't even know if he hid it. He didn't really hide it. His whole cabinet was full of the writers of Project 2025. As Miss Coley Bennett, you would know, correct?
There's nobody from Heritage in the cabinet. Not one person.
Collaborators on the Project 2025.
Who? Which one?
What are the current?
Can you name one? What is the name of a
Mr. Gates?
It's not the cabinet.
What policy of 2025, Project 2025 do you disagree with?
The entire part about eliminating wokeism and eliminating any kinds of civil rights related to race, gender, religious differences, disability, all of those things.
So the Project 2025, one of the tenets, if you will, is to make government accessible and without regard to your race. That's one thing. This is sort of a newer model of affirmative action DEI. So we want to make the government accessible for all Americans, regardless of your race. So Tell me what you disagree with about that.
So there was a time in our history where government and most public institutions were inaccessible to people who were not white. And that is like that in a lot of colonized countries around the world where they hold power.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to the presidency and collaborators and cabinet members, who have the aim of holding power and, removing people who are immigrated from not European countries primarily, unless you're Arab, that's fine. White Europeans will probably be fine to come in, but brown countries, you guys got to go back, where you came from, basically.
That's not true. So the only person who said you were going to go back to slavery was Biden and the Democrats. Certainly not a Republican. Certainly not Trump.
Well, somebody sent the text messages to the country a couple days ago. Did you see it in the news?
Yes. What about talking about the black people going back? Yeah. Yeah. So and you think that was Trump that did that? Okay. Yeah. Okay.
No,
right.
ma'am.
But
no, ma'am.
nevertheless,
no, ma'am,
the only people who have been saying black people are going to go back anywhere are Democrats. Democrats, and Biden specifically said that if you're not black, if you don't vote for me, you're not black. So you think it's okay and right and purposeful for a Democrat, a white man no less, to tell you and to tell black people that, oh, if you don't vote for me, then you're going to go back to slavery and be in chains. Democrats are the only ones who get up in the black churches and start singing hymns like they came straight out of the South, the slave calls and being run like Harriet Tubman going through the daggone Underground Railroad. This is what the Democratic Party does. You have not named a policy that the Project 2025 has said that they were going to discriminate against you or any other black people. Certainly not President Trump.
Yes, ma'am. Okay,
well, if I could just say, I just want to respond to just one thing you said about the immigrants from black countries.
Browns.
So I don't understand how that's true. I mean, specifically Nigerians, for instance, are one of the most successful immigrants in the United States. I think they may be like third or fifth to Asians. So
yes,
so I don't understand what you mean by that. I mean, they're doing better than many foundational black Americans.
Yes, ma'am. And if you look at the country,
and Dana, this the last one here. So wrap it up here with this comment. I'm gonna get to the next caller here.
In Nigeria, again, you have a colonized population. There is a YouTuber who is a lady who, I believe she's in Nigeria, maybe she's in Ghana. She talks about news all over Africa. And she's basically reporting that, the colonizers keep colonizing and they keep, keeping resources for themselves and making sure that the people whose land they're on can't move freely and can't do
you said immigrants coming to America.
So they're getting ready to fire all of the federal government workers because they're getting rid of this I forget what it's called. It's not executive order, but it's something where they're going to clean house, right? So we're going to see a lot of people laid off. Oh, okay. Well, we'll wait for it. I'll wait for it.
So DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, the idea is not
DOGE. No. We're talking. My boss sent me the article.
That's what it's called. Yes.
So
I'm talking about Article something that gives you rights not to discriminate in the federal government jobs. So they'll be able to fire people who are disabled. They'll be able to get rid of people who they perceive to be DEI hires. So that'll be a lot of black and brown people getting fired, and they'll be hiring other people into those positions. And they will have the authority to call out for whatever reason with no oversight, basically. So they can say,
just to be clear, the whole mission of government efficiency is to reduce the size of government. So if someone is moved from one place to another, the idea is to reduce the federal workforce by allowing people who are retirement age to do so. And people who are going to be displaced, and make no mistake, there will be people whose mission is to have a mission about a mission, because, when, just as a rule of thumb, when government is doing bad, when the economy is doing bad, and you've got 200,000 kids graduating from college, federal agencies will hire them simply so we don't have high unemployment numbers. And that happened during the Obama years. A lot of kids graduated and went directly to CMS. Because, they had to have jobs. It's good for our numbers. One thing you can trust about the Republican Party is we don't want high unemployment numbers. So what they talked about just 2 or 3 days ago is having people who are going to be displaced from their jobs job training, and severance packages that are tied to them getting a new job in the private sector. Now, for some jobs, there's no equivalent, right? So you're going to have to learn something new. And I think that's pretty good for adult
but
people.
Why? But why is the reason?
Well, the reason is
efficiency.
It's
getting rid of the DEI.
So check it out, ladies. I actually listen, and I know we can really keep going with this.
Right.
But let me tell you, Dana, I want to get to we got some more callers in the back, but thank you for calling up here. Okay.
Appreciate you, Dana.
It was a pleasure.
Dana, have a good evening.
Likewise.
Absolutely.
Keep tuning in, Dana.
Keep tuning in, Dana. Bring somebody else up backstage here. We dropped the link in. I'm letting everybody come up here that wants to go ahead and disagree with what's being stated here.
She looked like she disagreed. She looked like she disagreed.
That's a broad assumption to make. OMG.
Hold on, wait. We gonna bring y'all up. I want y'all to go ahead and get ready here tonight. Just make sure y'all, if you come up, you already are aware of what the conversation is, so we don't have to reiterate anything here. But let's talk to my sister here. What's your name, location, and where you stand?
Hello. I'm Ashley. I'm from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I'm 28 years old. So honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if y'all gonna want to put me off here or not, but I in fact do not disagree. I didn't realize that y'all were bringing people on to disagree. I actually agree with the statements that the women on the panel have been making. So I don't know if y'all want me to continue or replace me. I won't be offended.
Well, how about this? Just tell me why you agree very quickly, so we can get to the next caller.
So overall, I'm not prideful or arrogant, so I'm not afraid to admit that I'm not very well educated in politics, but because of my relationship with the Lord Jesus Christ, he kind of just opened my eyes, and I kind of saw this election on a more spiritual level. And I believe that, like, I voted for Trump, and so, like, I saw the manipulation and the propaganda just going on. It's like, if the media loves someone, they're going to paint a narrative to try to get the people to go along with that person. And I find that very dangerous, because I feel that most people who dislike Trump don't really know why. Like, when I've listened to him and his policies and what he stands for, he may not be perfect. I'm not going to call him a man of God, but his policies and what he stands for really goes against the spiritual wickedness in high places and the spirit of Jezebel trying to captivate this nation, feminizing the young men, like what was stated, and, making it legal for, sex to be talked about in the schools, and just wickedness, like abortion was at the forefront. And I think that's where they fail, because there's so many more important things. And it's like, I saw the manipulation in that as well. Like, someone stated with an interview that Harris had, they asked her, what would you do different from Biden? Like, she did not show any good leadership qualities. You know what I'm saying? It was a lot of deflection in her interviews. Like, she would not give a straight answer. And it's like, we always want to cry racism, but I think it's racist to continue to tell Black people that we have to be Democrat. On the day of the election, I saw an interview, I think it was like on MSNBC, and they were like, thank you, my fellow Black people, for remaining loyal Democrats throughout the project. I find that to be more racist than anything else. I think that we as a people, we're starting to wake up. Like I said, I just see the manipulation. I see the propaganda, and I find it dangerous for generations to come, because the media they never criticized Harris. They wanted us to love her. And they pandered to the Black people by bringing people like Meg Thee Stallion, Glorilla, and all these other people who are detrimental to our community as a whole. They do nothing for us but push sexual immorality and just foolishness. You know what I'm saying? So I don't disagree.
I like that.
Honestly, that was well said. I appreciate
it. It was. I want to ask the ladies, what did y'all think about, the female representation that the Harris campaign brought to the forefront?
And let me let my sister go here. Thank you so much for joining us, okay?
Thank you, Ashley. God bless y'all. Thank y'all.
God bless you.
All right.
Ashley got some good energy.
Yeah, she does. And that sweet Baton Rouge accent. Gotta love that, right?
Yeah. But go ahead, ladies. What's your thoughts?
Who are you?
Hey, put those people on mute real quick.
Well, you got people backstage.
But ladies,
my
question was, I'll restate it. My question was, what did what was your personal sentiments about the way that the Harris campaign, really the black female representation that they brought up to represent the Democratic Party?
I didn't see it as them representing the Democratic Party. I think from the polling, she knew that she had a disconnect between 18 and 40. And, you're on a short time window to make a connection. So one of the ways that people assume that they can connect with Black people is through music and through food and through religion. So she hit all of those from a political standpoint. She hit all of those things to kind of introduce herself to those particular communities. The problem is that after Cardi was finished, after Beyonce made her speech, she had nothing to say. And you hear that over and over again when you talk, especially the Black men. They're like, okay, well, you got my attention, but you didn't say anything, or you didn't answer the question directly. A lot of people have said that. I don't mind campaigns spending their money the way they want to. If you're dumb enough to give it, they're stupid enough to spend it. But when you're talking about, did Meg twerking help her move the needle 1 point? It did not.
That's kind of wild. So is that what the research told them? That it told them that Meg twerking would reach the 25 to 40-year-olds? Because I get the 18 to 25. I get that. 18. I get the 18.
Yeah, they were going after the younger people.
Okay.
They were primarily going after the younger people. I think overall it was condescending. I think they went after the lowest common denominator that they knew about, that again, like reaching Black people predominantly through entertainment, food, things like that. They used the lowest common denominator. They did not even attempt to engage people with their minds, with their intellect, with policies. They actually, to me, they were saying, oh, Black people, we don't think that you could muster up intellectual, coherent conversation about the things that actually affect your lives on a day-to-day basis. We don't think that about you at all. So we're going to bribe you, twerk in front of you, play all this, have Beyonce, because this is what you do, Black people. These are the people who you idolize and you put on platforms. These are the people that you like. So this is what we're going to give you.
Yeah, absolutely. And in a lot of situations, these people that they put up, they didn't even represent what was important to Americans, what was important to women, and not just women, but people across the board. I mean, gas prices were $1 higher under Biden and Kamala than it was when Trump was in office. Inflation was 19% for the first 42 months of Biden's administration. Under Trump, it was down to 6%. The stock market is another thing that was way better. The returns, I think, were 11.5% under Kamala. Trump, the market was like 16%. Electricity bills were up 25%. So these are things that would really matter to people. Unfortunately, I wish, Black people in the Black community would hang on to this a little harder and use that instead of using this idolatry of race, idolatry of gender. But we found that a lot of married women leaned more towards Trump than single women, because they kept Kamala Harris's campaign led with abortion. Well, abortion is not the only thing women think about. We think about this whole trans ideology. We think about how are our girls going to be playing sports with biological men. All of this stuff is important, and they didn't really speak to that. I thought they had a messaging problem. Kamala Harris and her whole campaign had a messaging problem. They demonized masculinity. This is why we saw a large amount of Black men move away from Kamala Harris, because it was something that they called toxic. And that's not what people want to hear. And she had no answers, no responses to those things.
So check it out. We're actually gonna move into the LGBTQ movement next and last, but I think we got some people backstage we're gonna bring on.
Wait, hold that. Let me read some super chats real quick before you bring her up. Shout out to Chadwick Reason Frazier says Black men finally stopped being bullied for coming to the realization that the matriarchy was destroying Black culture. Black men are taking back their community, and it's starting with their vote. We are last in everything. Shout out to Sir Ty says, notice the clip. Notice F the clip. All they have to sell is complexion, whereas the Poppin' Politics ladies explain policy. Let's delve deeper. Many in the media and church are propagandists. Want proof? See what Oprah, AI, Rowley received. Shout out to Giovanni Patterson. Says Democrats, a party of slavery, has realized that chains are no longer needed to maintain slavery. Chains have been replaced with control over education and the media. Shout out to Milton M. Says the following men are writers of Project 2025 and selected in Trump's cabinet: Russ Vought, Tom Holman, and John Ratcliffe. So I'll let the ladies respond to that after we bring the next caller. And shout out to Key Gray. Shout out to Key Gray. Key, this is, I'm assuming this is the Key Gray I know. This is actually my firearm trainer. So shout out to the Second Amendment. He says Democratic saying that the money issues were not as big as it truly were. It's the equivalent of peeing on yourself and then telling you to change your shirt. They still blame the loss for everything. Shout out to Key. I'm sure we'll talk about that at the range.
Absolutely. Shout out to Key. Lana, go ahead and bring our next guest backstage up. There she is. What's up with you, sister? Welcome to Hardly Initiated. Wait, you're muted.
We got you.
You got to unmute yourself. And what's the name,
Can you hear
Lana?
me now?
We sure can.
I can hear you now. How you doing, sister?
Hi.
Wait, before you
my
start.
name is Tanya.
There you go. Name, age, and location.
My name is Tanya. I'm 56, and I'm in Durham, North Carolina.
Durham, North Carolina. Shout out. And do you agree or disagree with these sisters?
Uh-oh.
A little of both.
Listen.
A little of both.
I want to hear where you disagree with them here, because which point in particular was that you disagree with?
It's a lot that they say that I can't remember at this present right now. One of the things that I disagree with is the DEI thing. I don't know a lot of policy. I have heard some things. I don't feel like DEI should be a factor in anything, because there are a lot of Black people that are against DEI right now that benefited from it in the past. So I don't think if you benefited from it, you should be against it now. Number one. As far as abortion, it was a lot on both sides that I did not agree with. I did not agree with abortion. I'm a Christian, so I have 4 kids, well, 5. One was deceased during birth. He was stillborn. With the issues now, I feel like I could have died with that stillborn because they had to induce labor. And that's a form of abortion. Medically.
No, it's not.
No, ma'am.
It's not?
No, ma'am.
No,
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry you had a baby that was born stillborn. My heart goes out to you.
Absolutely.
But that is not a form of abortion.
Okay. That's something that I couldn't hear her.
She said it's not, Tanya. She said that's not a form of abortion, is what she communicated.
Okay.
But this what I want to get now. So let's just talk about things one at a time here, because the biggest thing at this point that you've heard so far that you disagree with, you're saying, was it the DEI is where you disagree? And you can be very honest, Tanya. You ain't got to bite your tongue. Was that where you disagree with the ladies?
Yeah, because I feel like race is in our society, right? If racism is in the fabric of America, no ifs, ands, buts about it. We all know this. And I feel like even though the Democratic Party started out originally as the party of slaves, and Republican, like they switched. The roles were reversed, correct? Correct? Am I wrong about that?
Yes, no, you good, Tanya. Good. Please go ahead. Close out your point here so we can get to the next caller. Go ahead. Let's be brief and brilliant.
Okay, so I feel like the Republican Party has switched roles, and I do feel like they are the racist party and not the Democrats. I feel like.
Can I answer her, Tanya, real quick?
There we go.
Yeah, go ahead.
Absolutely.
Tanya, let me say this to you. You talk about racist again. The Democrat Party was the party of the KKK. The Democrat Party was the party of Jim Crow. They're the ones who wanted to lynch and did lynch people, have separate but equal, separate water fountains. They are the ones who literally wanted to keep Black people in the South enslaved. There is not a switch. Republicans have never wanted that. In fact, the Republicans Party platform has always been about freedom and liberty and standing on the Constitution. And yet, have we always done that, or maybe expressed that perfectly over the centuries that we've been here in America? No, but that is what Republicans strive for. Remember, the Republicans, thankfully to Abraham Lincoln, came down and freed us. Freed the black people who were slaves. Yes, so much so that it was going on that they didn't even know about it in Galveston, Texas until about almost 2 years later. There was no switch. The Democratic Party wants to and has always been about enslavement, and particularly enslavement of Black people.
Thank you so much for that. And Tanya, did you? But first of all, Shelly be turned.
Listen, y'all better make sure y'all know some facts before y'all come up here real quick, because they flaming people up right now.
You better grab.
Can I ask one more question?
Yeah, and
because
listen.
the main thing that made me vote for the Democrats this time, was Social Security. I'm a disabled 56-year-old woman, and the Republican Party is talking about, or has been talking about for quite some time, doing away with Social Security. That is my main reason for voting for Kamala Harris. It had nothing to do with the economy, because I'm on disability. It's going to be bad for me either way.
See, that's what we should have started with, actually. Why you voted for Kamala. So it's just the Social Security issue. So ladies, can you, and I'm getting some texts. Actually, I got a couple of texts about that too. Can y'all chime in on that?
Ms. Tanya, how many Republicans have told you that they want to do away with Social Security? Can I tell you the answer is going to be 0? Because Republicans, just like Democrats, like every other working American, pay into that system. Now, I started working when I was 14, and I feel like I want my money out the system I've been paying into, right? We have a vested interest in taking care of the infirmed and our elderly. It is something ensconced in Christianity. It's something ensconced in traditional lifestyle. There is no one more. The American people are very gracious. We have very big hearts. We support other nations, and they're sick and old and infirmed. This is what America does. We wouldn't do it for another nation and not do it for ours. Do we need Social Security reform? Absolutely, because there are a ton of people on Social Security, some of them who are not even from our nation, who are sucking
that was something else
out of the pot. So here's the problem. We have got to figure out a way to audit that system while taking care of people like you, taking care of people like, my dad, God rest his soul, he was an older man, worked his whole life, he collected his little bit of Social Security. We want to make sure that there are no Americans dying in the street from hunger, that people who need healthcare have their healthcare, but we also want to make sure that people who are gaming the system get out, period. This is not a move to leave people destitute. That's not what we're about, not at all.
Tanya, thank you so much for coming up on here and sharing with us, okay?
Thank you.
Hi, Miss Tanya. Have a good evening.
We appreciate you, Miss Tanya.
Absolutely.
Keep tuning in.
Absolutely, absolutely, man. Let me tell you, ladies, thank you so much.
We're gonna have to get Mike Tyson for these ladies.
Facts, yeah. Very, y'all better read a damn social studies book for y'all come up here.
Telling you,
you gotta have at least a 3.5 before you come up here. Because Shelly ain't holding back.
First of all,
and let me tell you, listen, KJ talk with a face, so you already know where she stand. Yeah. She got the strongest facial expression.
We got to find somebody for them. We got to find some strong Democrats.
Matter of fact, I need you to zoom in. I want you to zoom in on KJ facial expression on that next caller when they come up that disagree. In fact, this is what we're gonna do here, because one of the most popular conversations that's been on our platform that we really want to dig into, because we've never dug deep into the homosexual conversation
politically.
I would say probably sexual immorality is something that, as a platform we fight, especially being, former sluts ourselves, I would say.
Right. Everything's sexually immoral.
Everything's sexually immoral. And we just see how we influence, man. A lot of us, children watching porn earlier, they getting into these different alternative lifestyles, experimenting way earlier. The number one trend in porn category is trans right now. It's just a lot of immorality happening.
It's happening in real time. We got a men's group. We started our men's group. We meet, once a month every Saturday. Well, we got me and Tyshawn, we've been in ours for like 8 months. It's a small group, but we started a larger group where we open it to the public. So we have about 40 guys out there. We ran our second one. But anyway, we did these little note cards, these little what you call them, sticky notes. And we just had all the guys. It's 40 guys now. They're writing all the issues that they having. So it's anonymous. We put them in a bucket. Okay. Now then you pass out the sticky notes. Who is all anonymous now? Nobody knows who fills out what. And we pass them all to the guys. And man, you got molestation is in there 10 times. Yeah. You got having sex with men and women in there a good 15, 18 times.
Cheating on my wife
is in there. Can't stop dealing with the women. That's probably like all 40, including myself, not cheating, but just dealing with women. Yeah. So everything is all lust and sexual immorality, all of these issues where people is not just, restricted to different sex couples, same sex. These men are having issues with that. Yeah. So this is, at this point, it's an epidemic.
It is. So we've been talking about it over the last few weeks. In fact, y'all better tune in to next Monday. Next Monday, we having a mass testimony for all of our listeners that have ever had a homosexual experience and left the lifestyle. We're going to be going deep into it on Monday. Right. If you have a story, send it to us at info@hardlyinitiated.com to join us Monday. Monday is going to be a powerful show. Watch me tell you now. All right. But let's talk about it from a political lens, ladies, because what I want to talk about now, because one of the things that I think push a lot of people away is they associate the Democratic Party with the LGBTQ community. And a lot of people feel like it's being disproportionately pushed on our people, it's influencing our culture. We see in a lot of our young men more, not even just men and women.
But they still, this is the thing, the same people who have issues with it are still voting Democrat. And what I hear from those people are saying, hey, I don't like it, but that does not impact me. That does not impact you. So,
and I don't like it enough to vote for the racists.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So with that being the case, let's actually talk about the LGBTQ community through a political lens. Because if we can go back to the origin of it, because I know we'd like to talk about right now, let's go back. When did the LGBTQ community really catch momentum and win and power politically in politics?
I would say 1990. I think 1990 was a breakout year for the LGBTQIA organizations, mostly because America kind of went through a cultural shift. And I hate to call us the latchkey kids, but the latchkey kids are working toward their adulthood. We were kids that were not necessarily brought up in that little tiny tight box. We were kind of let outside to go run and play, and your friends were your friends. You didn't care if they were black, white, Chinese. It made us no difference. They really took advantage of that cultural shift with people who said, okay, well, you're a little bit different than me, but you're still like us. We're all still kind of the same. They really took advantage of that in the early 90s. And unfortunately, it has become a little bit more prevalent as they push it on certain communities and minority communities. When you talk about kids getting gender affirming care in schools and their parents not giving any consent, all of those kind of things. When people say it doesn't affect me, it doesn't affect the Black community, you better believe it affects the Black community. It absolutely affects us. It affects our children. It affects everything in school. You may not see it. You may not be aware because, again, they don't have to give you parents any notice of what's going on. You know, your son could be taking birth control pills now. He could be taking estrogen right now and you would not know. They have no reason to tell you that, and your child, quote unquote, has more rights as an individual than you do as a parent. Wow. So all of that, I think, started in the early 90s, and they have been growing by leaps and bounds. And one of the ways, the most insidious ways that they have been growing is by drawing a kinship between the Black experience and the gay experience. Now, that's something that our community needs to take a hardline stance on because we are not the same. Those two things are not the same. They are not.
I would add that of course, gay people, bisexual people, whatever acronym you want to use or description, have always been with us. I mean, as a society, right? But when I think it was 2013, when President Obama gave his inauguration speech, he was the first president to include, lesbians and gays. And so in that sense, because he had the platform, because he was the president, he had the microphone, if you will, that gave, I guess, legitimacy, if that's the word I want to use, that gave more prominence, more perception. Now, let me say this, because I know people are going to beat up on you. I don't want them to beat up on you. Nobody is saying that lesbians, gay people should not exist, I'm not saying that. They should not work, that they should not, be in this space or what. I'm not saying that. I do say that they should not be in the bathrooms with children. I do say that, I don't know if I can say this word, you can beep it out, but I gotta say
Go
it.
ahead.
This is what I would say on our show. I do say that people with dicks should not pretend to be chicks. That's what I do say. I do say that.
We say that too. So, we say that too.
So I do say that. So there are lines that I draw and other people draw. Again, I don't want gay people I don't even believe really that people can be trans. Okay, but we want to use that moniker, fine. Don't believe that they want to use their bathroom, whatever, for unisex. So we do need to draw some lines. And my line always is drawn at children, adults, consenting adults, I'll say, have at it, whatever you're going to do, but leave the children alone. And when President Obama gave that legitimacy and that prominence, if you will, to that, of course, with the president comes policies, comes all kinds of other media attention, and that brings up more attention than it needed to have, and I think that it should have had.
Yeah, I totally agree. I believe it all started with President Obama. When he first came into office, I think on the eve of election night, he said we are 5 days away from fundamentally transforming the United States of America. And he did it. With Obama ushered in and codified the LGBT agenda into the United States. So I think it's important that we separate. We are not just talking about gay people. We're not talking about homosexuality. We are talking about the agenda, the mafia, the LGBT mafia that has come about in these last couple of years. And it's been brought about due to the Obama administration. He actually passed law. He repealed the don't ask, don't tell policy. He supported the marriage equality policy. He made laws, hate crimes prevention. And talk about Black and brown people. Folks, Africa, the continent of Africa, has totally just pushed, they can't stand Obama because he and his administration and the Biden administration has tried to do it as well, but it started under the Obama administration, went to Africa and other third world countries or less advanced, non-advanced industrial countries and threatened them but that he was going to pull funding from many of these African countries that passed laws that defined marriage as between one man and one woman. So we talk about all the time colonizers, but what about how they try to implement their worldviews on African countries, Black countries? We never talk about that. These are countries that still believe in traditionalism. Whether you believe in it or not, they should have their sovereignty to handle their countries the way they choose. And we went in there and bullied them, so much so that leaders in Kenya, Uganda, several other African countries pushed back against Obama to say, you're not going to bring that over here. So it started with him. And just like I always say, I hate to keep pushing out this thing, but Obama is a Marxist. He is a communist, and part of the Communist Manifesto, part of their Marxism is homosexuality. Because with homosexuality, you get to the idea of that, then they've gone on to the genders. There's no gender, there's no mother, there's no father, there's no family, traditional family. All of that goes by the wayside when we say that homosexuality, trans, all of this is no longer alternative. It is normal. It is the base. It is what children need to be taught in schools. It is what we need to change the bathrooms and have these men that's dressed like women going into bathrooms. It is why now we have them biological men playing sports with girls. All of it was ushered in, and it started with your Black president, Obama.
That's some strong words, KJ, because correct me if I'm wrong, the actual marriages, the legalization of homosexual marriages, that was under the Obama presidency, correct?
Yes.
In fact, I think we actually have a video here. Lano, go ahead and play the video. This was, I think this was actually when it was announced over in D.C., if I'm not mistaken, but go ahead and play that, Lano.
This morning, the Supreme Court recognized that the Constitution guarantees marriage equality. In doing so, they've reaffirmed that all Americans are entitled to the equal protection of the law, that all people should be treated equally, regardless of who they are or who they love. This decision will end the patchwork system we currently have. It will end the uncertainty hundreds of thousands of same-sex couples face from not knowing whether their marriage, legitimate in the eyes of one state, will remain if they decide to move or even visit another. This ruling will strengthen all of our communities by offering to all loving same-sex couples the dignity of marriage across this great land. In my second inaugural address, I said that if we are truly created equal, then surely the love we commit to one another must be equal as well. It is gratifying to see that principle enshrined into law by this decision. This ruling is a victory for Jim Osefo and the other plaintiffs in the case. It's a victory for gay and lesbian couples who have fought so long for their basic civil rights. It's a victory for their children, whose families will now be recognized as equal to any other.
It's interesting, you know.
He stood on that.
Obama definitely stood on top of it. And what you said, pause, right? But question, I'm sorry. But going into the conversation that we're having here, putting, you know, the onus on Obama, saying that he's the one that ushered this in. I'm curious about this part here, because when you think about the power that the president has at this time, was it a strategic move to push this behind Obama, the Black president in particular? Do you think that was a specific strategy, that Obama in particular was the perfect person to get this policy pushed behind? Or, you know, would this have happened regardless if anybody was the president at this point in time?
No, I think it was definitely an Obama thing, because when you look back politically, Barbara Jordan is a Black legislator. I think she's from Texas. Bill Clinton stopped short of announcing why he was giving her a Medal of Freedom. But she was a lesbian Democrat legislator that he admired very much. So that would have been a good opportunity for Bill to push that legislation forward because she was very popular. Barbara Jordan was, you know, not necessarily a centrist, but she wasn't as liberal as people are today. He could have made that push then. They could have come out swinging for the fences then, but he was not the right candidate because, you know, he was going through his Slick Willie phase, and there were all of these women that were coming out saying, I slept with the president, and then the Monica Lewinsky situation. So he wasn't the guy. But here you have America's first Black president who everybody wanted to like. Democrat, Republican, everybody wanted to like him. If anyone was going to pull something or roll something out that was going to change our culture forever, he had enough good grace in the bank with most Americans to do it. And I think they took full advantage of that. I mean, politically, that's savvy. I mean, that's absolutely savvy.
Exactly. I agree, Nicole. And to your question, I would say yes. In 2008, Obama said that he defined marriage as between a man and a woman. Well, 5 years later, what changed and why? It was politically expedient. That's why he did it. Now, he may very well believe it. Maybe he did have a change of mind. I can't say definitively that he doesn't believe one way or the other. However, politically speaking, it was expedient. And these are the people, the groups, if you will, that propped him up. They certainly put money in his coffers, okay? He was elected twice, and then this agenda kept going and growing, going and growing. Not only that, if you think about it in terms of the communist agenda, right? One of their whole purposes, if not the whole purpose, was to infiltrate, particularly in the Black community. And how do they keep using that? They use it with race. They use it with breaking up the family, helping to destroy our communities. Well, the best way to do that is to get somebody that looks like you, somebody who's very popular, someone who will be accepted in your community, almost no questions asked. The first Black president, not Clinton, because Clinton was given that title as well, but certainly the first real Black president. Loved by many. He's smooth talker. He's eloquent. Biden said he was articulate. So why not use it? Why not try that agenda at that time?
Well, let me ask this question here, ladies, because before we actually bring some audience members up, by the way, if anybody disagrees with what's being said, please head backstage. Unless I want you to join this conversation.
1,400 people in the chat.
I want to ask this: what's the long-term goal of the LGBTQ agenda? Because at this point, it seems like it's just getting started. If it got pushed in around the 2008 presidency of Obama, what are they trying to get to?
Oh, that's easy. And again, I want to make this very clear. I am not talking about gay people in general. We're talking about the LGBTQIA agenda. Okay. I have no issue with people, personally, just religiously, that's not my thing. But, if you want to do that in your privacy of your own home or whatever you want to do, I'm fine with it. Do whatever you want to do. But the agenda is to destroy family, because look what it has turned into. Now we're talking about people cross-dressing and first it was love is love and this is the way you're born. Now it's become, oh no, I'm not born this way. It's how I feel. It's an identity. This thing has transformed into so much. And personally, I believe the end goal is to AI. This is the end goal, because think about it. The left is trying to get rid of gender. Okay, they're trying to say that man, there's no description of man, there's nothing description of woman, mother, there's no father. Really, they want the government to be the parent. Mm-hmm. But in order to implement AI, in order to implement transhumanism, you have to get rid of gender, because robots have no gender. Robots can't have children. So eventually, and again, this comes from Marxism, communism, eventually they want a system where there will be no parents, there will be no mother, no father, no gender, and then you can fuse robot with this genderless society. If you look at fashion, everything is androgynous. You know, they're trying to make no type of gender, no type of masculinity, femininity. If they are, it's bending. You know, you see these masculine women, you see these effeminate men, and effeminate men is not even part of the Bible. I mean, that's in the Bible. You're not supposed to be like that.
Right.
But again, all of this is geared towards transhumanism. This is what it's coming, folks. Wake up.
I'm not gonna lie. I did not expect it to take that kind of turn.
KJ went full sci-fi on us.
Yeah, he just blew my mind with that one. Transhumanism.
Yep, that's where it's going.
That is nuts.
Wow.
But when you think about it, when you research it, the idea of no gender, this is where we confuse human and machine, because that way we have no gender. Machines can't have children. They don't want us to have children anyway. This is why they push an abortion on our communities, you know? And again, it's a grift. It's a money grift. Folks, transgenderism is the golden goose for the left. These people are having medical procedures and surgeries for a lifetime. And what better way? You start when they're young, teenagers, you know, and you get them to think that they're trans, and then you get them to cut off their breasts, cutting off their penises. And then you got somebody who's going to be in the medical field for the rest of their life on medication and to getting hospital procedures. It is a grift. And we have fallen for a hook, line, and sinker. It's sad. It's sad.
Wow.
Whew. Man, let me tell you, we got some people backstage.
First off, more people
now.
Getting in the chat. First off,
if you disagree, I want you backstage immediately right now, okay? Because we're actually about to close out the show here. This is the last rodeo before we go ahead and get it going here. Lano, go ahead and bring our
I got a
next
text that she full blown with it. I love it.
We got Naomi in the back. Go ahead and bring Naomi up. What's up, Naomi?
Hey.
She got that beautiful smile. Yeah, we sure can, Naomi.
We sure can, Naomi. Can you give me your age and location?
Yes. My name is Naomi Greenlee, Dallas, Texas. I am 63 years old.
Damn, you look good.
No way.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Incredible.
Thank you.
Let me ask you this. What exactly did you disagree with? Well, first of all, do you disagree with what was being said about the LGBTQ agenda?
Yes, but I have a twist on it.
Okay,
what's the twist?
And what's the disagree?
Okay,
what's the point of disagreement?
I disagree. I mean, I agree that LGBTQ, yeah, that's bad. I don't agree with all of that lifestyle. However, who is making these AI robots that's going to be coming in doing all of this other stuff we're talking about? Who is that? Do we have a name? Elon Musk.
No. Elon Musk has written book after book that he believes AI is dangerous, and it's something.
Honey, he's the one that's creating some of these robots.
Not AI. We're talking about AI.
Yeah, I think she's talking about the Tesla, AI. The Tesla bot. The Tesla bot.
I'm talking about AI.
He has a vision. He stated that he has a vision for humanoid robots. That is the truth. That is a fact.
A humanoid robot to drive cars or to do, not to replace you, not to replace you as a mother, not to replace you as a father, and not have kids, and not to trans your kids. That's a whole. There's always been robotics or mechanized instruments. That's not the same. That's not the goal of Elon Musk.
Okay, I'm glad you're in his head. He said himself, humanoid robots. What is a humanoid robot? That's an AI. We can't.
First of all,
it is
either about the fusion. I'm talking about transhumanism. I'm talking about the fusion of robot and human.
Okay, so who's going to do that?
I can't believe you're saying this. Elon Musk has been very vocal about how he is against AI. He's against that, all of it. He knows he got into it early on in his career and realized the capabilities of it, and he's been sounding the alarm on it for the last several years. He's saying,
okay, stay tuned with him. Just a lot deeper than what people say out of their mouth. I've learned to do that. So that's one thing I don't agree with. Another thing I don't agree, because I'm not a Democrat, I'm an independent. one thing I don't agree with is anyone that gets on and dominate a conversation saying the left is bad. We're good, we're the best, we are the God people, and they're the horrible people. That's not true. There are Republicans that are going to heaven, there are Republicans going to hell. There are Democrats going to heaven, there are Democrats going to hell. So the point, I'm going from the very beginning, trying to get in a long time ago. So the whole situation, when we talk about who was the first person or first president to say anything about or do anything with lesbianism, it was Clinton in 1999. He was the one that did all of that.
Bill,
he was the one that he made a
statement. Yeah. What policy? What policy did he pass?
No, I didn't say he made a policy or he passed a law. He was the one that spoke about it in his remarks, remarks as a president.
If he didn't do a policy or a law.
Right. And President Obama.
Well, he was the first president. He was the first president and gave attention to the lesbianism, and he gave them remarks in his open remark as a president, in his first remarks as a president, and that's been documented. So he was the first.
He did not institute any policies.
I did not say he did.
So that's what matters. That's what matters.
Oh, it does matter. What comes out of a president's mouth matters. What comes out of a president's mouth matters.
And what they do matters more.
Yes, I agree with that.
More.
Okay, so let's not disagree where we don't disagree. So I don't disagree
you said you don't disagree. You disagree with us. So I'm just clarifying what they do actually matters more.
Okay,
so, let's disagree where we disagree.
Okay, so I disagree on, first of all, Black women getting on here going on and on about other Black women.
Here we go.
I don't get there because why are we doing it like that? But I mean, because there are some Democrats and independent women who don't think like you, but they're okay. They're cool people. You don't have to go there to down them. I'm a more positive minded person. And when I hear other Black women just bad and downing other people like that, I don't agree with that. I'm 100% not on that page.
We certainly
you can state your point without saying all of that, because I'm not on either side.
The left does not only include Black women. The left have a lot of different
but you all did on this conversation. You did on this conversation, honey. You did.
Well, no, honey.
Shout out to Naomi for debating with a smile on.
Hey, first of all, let me tell you, Naomi in here like Bruce Lee kind of handling it. She I'm seeing her kind of handle three people all at once right now.
We gotta get two teammates.
But see, here's the thing. I think there's some I think there is some validity to what the sister's saying though, because what the sister's saying, I agree. If something comes out of president's mouth, that matters. Even if it doesn't turn into policy, the fact that it comes out of somebody's mouth, there's some power associated with this person's voice. So I do believe that now, but even going back to Elon, here's the thing. I'm all for empowering America's best and brightest and brilliant talent in our government. I think that's actually a great move to put the brilliant minds and business owners of our country running the actual country itself. But to her point, the sister actually made a good point, because I've heard Elon too speak against AI, but the brother is still on the cutting edge and pushing the limit. I mean, he's literally putting a brain chip together. So in some ways, don't you ladies think that it could be a gateway drug with a lot of the things he's introducing now into the agenda, the long-term agenda, KJ, that you're talking about?
Was Elon, so he spoke a little bit about this on Joe Rogan's podcast, but he has to, I mean, if this is where the direction of the society is going, he's just going to stop? This is his business. He's not just going to stop.
So here's the thing. When we talk about the AI scales, this AI competition, if you're a student of politics, when you think back to the nuclear war times, when Russia would have this bomb, the United States came back and had a bomb this much better. It's the very same thing with AI. We're right now leading the way, but China is on our tail like nobody's business, right? So having innovation that comes out of the United States that serves the United States, I think, is a much better idea than buying it from the damn Chinese.
Yeah, and it's good that he recognizes the limits and where the dangers in it as well. And so, and he's totally against the trans movement. He's totally against that. He's come out against that. So I like the fact that he's still going to push the envelope in certain areas, but then he's saying in others it's dangerous. And again, I am honestly not Elon Musk's biggest fan. I'm not really into some of the things he talks about, but I do recognize his brilliance. And I'm happy that he understands and sees the danger in going too far with the AI, and that he's saying there's a limit, and I'm not willing to cross that line. I'm happy with that.
If we need to be in all spaces, if you will, we want to use that lingo, then we do need people who are able to be in and be able to compete, if you will, in those spaces, pushing back against, like Nicole said, the Chinas or whatever. We used to have the policy, what was it, Star Wars with MAD, mutually assured destruction, particularly between the US and Russia. So the only way to meet Russia's innovation and Russia's strength was that we, as the United States, we had to be equal or exceed it. That guarantees, or I would say pretty much guarantees, mutual respect, which is what, I think President Trump brings, if you will, to the table. I voted for Trump 3 times on purpose, no apologies, and I still don't agree with everything that comes out of his mouth. But I do know that the policies that he has put forth, even some of the foolishness he says, the policies have by and large been good. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Naomi, listen.
I want to make one more point.
Well, hold on. And this the last point, Naomi, and right after this point, we're gonna get to the next call. Okay.
Okay. When they talked about racism and talked about Democrats, what are the Proud Boys?
Oh,
what are they? I just have
yeah. So we actually have a friend who was actually saved by the Proud Boys. So when we talk about this,
what are they?
Yeah,
no, that's not what I asked.
All the time on Pop and Politics. So the Proud Boys is an organization. I believe they may be they're conservative, but they're just like a group that will go out and combat aggressive groups on the left. So
so I don't have enough time to go into it. I think you need to dig a little deeper on that, what they really are. There was a white couple that I know that have gone into them and hid as if he was one of them, as if they were one of them. And the information that they came out with, I think it's a biography on it. The information they came out with will blow your mind. So talk slow when you talk about them as being just another group. That's not what they are. Look.
Well,
I just don't have time to go into it because it's time.
These groups that are national groups, they're different factions.
The Proud Boys.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Proud.
Okay.
Yeah, there's different parts of the groups. Now, it's for almost like sororities. AKA in DC, and this isn't a sorority, I know, but what I'm trying to say, any group that's a national group, that different parts may do it differently. I personally know a friend, Bevelyn Beatty Williams, who was at a protest. I think it was a protest in DC, and she was. I think it was either when Trump won the first time, and she was about to be hurt by some Antifa. Antifa BLM rioters. She's a Black woman, and she was saved by the Proud Boys. Now, she still was stabbed by these aggressive Antifa BLM rioters, but they saved her, stopped them from getting, probably killed, took her to the hospital and everything. So I say this to say, we as conservatives, it's like an uphill battle, man. I mean, the media puts out so much misinformation.
This is not just media.
It's like you really have to dig to get to the truth. But I mean, we've talked to many Proud Boys. We have friends who know some of the Proud Boys. Now, are they some factions of the organization that are maybe doing bad things? I'm sure. Just like Moms for Liberty. Moms for Liberty has a horrible name. I know many Moms for Liberties. I've been to Moms for Liberty's organization events. These women are doing the Lord's work for our children. I thank God for them for getting gender ideology out of our schools. But there probably are some factions of them in the country that may be going a little too far or what have you. But for the most part, they're a good organization. So, I mean,
Naomi, let me ask you this. Thank you for that, KJ. Just so, but before you get out of here, just so we can be clear, you voted for Kamala this year?
I did, and I tell you why. Real quick, because I agree with abortion, but I don't agree with the fact that women should not be able to be cared for if they have an issue with pregnancy and that they have to have a medical help and they can't get it. Here in Texas, I live in Texas. Here in Texas, or what have you, a doctor cannot tend to you. I know that for a fact. And years ago, when I had that same situation happen to me, I would be dead today. I would not be alive here today had they had the same law that they have here in Texas today. I know that for a fact. I'm not for it, Kamala, because nothing else. I just could not see that the women that I've heard of that are dying from the same thing that I almost died from. I couldn't vote for that either. And plus,
what was it that you almost died from?
Ectopic pregnancy.
Oh, so they said to you that they would not.
Abortion, they had to take the baby.
So that's a medical procedure. And if doctors in Texas are not performing D&Cs, then Texas has got bigger problems than abortion. That is absolutely a medical
pregnancy
procedure.
Was give me a D&C. It was to remove the baby from the fallopian tube because the baby born
it's
outside.
A medical emergency.
It's a medical emergency.
Exactly. So that, believe it or not, cannot happen here. Every state is not the same. Women had to travel to different states to get it done.
So check it out.
Right now. That's the truth of the matter.
Naomi, I'm gonna let you go here. Man, I wish your Wi-Fi was really
that Wi-Fi
was really hitting. That Wi-Fi is tweaking. It's getting a little worse here, but I really appreciate you because you really made some great points here. Thank you so much for joining us, Naomi. Okay.
Okay. Bye.
Have a good night.
All right, Naomi, 1,500 people in the chat. Shout out to Elivani. She says, what made the Republican to agree with it up now politic?
Huh?
With the what?
Yeah, I read that right. Okay. I read that right.
Just in case.
Yeah, that's for E. E, listen, send over another super chat. E, you got us confused with that one, but we appreciate you and we love you.
So we got somebody else backstage that we bringing up here.
This
so ladies, let's see. It depends on what Lano tell me. Who we bringing up here? Bring him up, Lano. Linda, what's up with you?
Hi, how are you?
I'm blessed, Linda. Give me your age, your location.
I'm Linda. I'm 44 and I'm from New Jersey.
44 and from New Jersey in the building.
All right.
I hope you got your notes ready, Linda.
I do actually. Look at my notebook right here.
Ooh, wow. All right. So okay. I'll be listen. I don't like letting y'all go because y'all be all over the place when I just let y'all go. So I'm gonna try to ask you the question so we can aim this, really nail this thing down. Did you disagree with what we spoke about with the LGBTQ agenda?
I actually didn't. So that's not what I actually didn't. I actually do think that it has become a little out of hand, especially with the kids. I don't have any kids yet, but I just do think like that it's being pushed on them a lot. Like, I don't even think kids should be learning about anything like sexual until they get to like maybe 8th or 9th grade. And that should be like, oh, your body and like, you know, your period and all hormones and all that stuff. But I actually don't agree. Like, I'm not like, if you're an adult and you want to, you know, live however you want to live, then that's you. But I didn't disagree with what they were saying with regards to that.
Fair. So what was your point of disagreement?
Right.
So my point of disagreement was with the first thing was with race. Like, I know the ladies were saying that like people are making race an idol, especially Black people. But I think that like, I don't think we're making race an idol. Like, I think America has made race an idol and they've made our race an idol, right? And like that's seen through like the disproportionate rates that Black people, like the different areas like healthcare, incarceration, like we're disproportionate in a lot of areas. Like, I can't see a Black person who wants to always be the topic of something. I can't see it. I can't say that Black people would still be talking about a lot of race-related things if things weren't still happening in 2024. Like, we're not talking about like, oh, this person was lynched. I'm not, you can't, so you can go back to like, whether you go back to 2020 or you go back, read up on something that's going on now that we don't even see in the news. We don't have to go back far to see that things are still happening to this one race of people. And let me say, like, I'm first generation here. My family is from Nigeria. They came over in the 70s. So I was born and raised here. So I was fortunate in a lot of ways because my family came like with the, my family's from a different country, but I do still very much like, the Black people, it's a lot. Like, I don't think like Black people are throwing themselves into like, oh, I want to be, they want to be the center of everything. Things are happening today in 2024 that is making it an issue. So I don't necessarily think that, Black people are idolizing race. Maybe in my circles, they're not. I don't know if people are, but I think that's the reason why race is talked about so much, especially when it comes to Black people, because Black people are suffering in so many different areas. Like if you think of a lot of other races, like, Africans, Caribbeans, Asians, like whoever, like prospering. But, I think people forget that like Black people have suffered a lot and continue to, and they're not pulling things from like 1800s or during Jim Crow or Black code laws. They're not doing that. It's present. So that's one thing. And then another
wait, let's stay there. Let's stay on one thing at a time. Let's stay on one thing at a time. So let's have the ladies chime in on their thoughts on that. Ladies, what's your thoughts to what she said?
I would ask Naomi.
No, Linda.
I'm sorry, Linda. I'm sorry. Thank you. I would ask this for all of the, if you want, the racism and the bias that's here in America, if going by what you're saying and what many other people have said, then why would people from Africa in particular, or any other brown or Black people from not from the United States, why would they immigrate here? If America is such this racist place, why would those people come here? And not only come here, why would they come here and do well?
Well, I mean, the thing is, America kind of has their hand in every other country, right? So this is a very wealthy country. Like, there are parts of Africa, Nigeria, that are, and I'll say this as a Nigerian, Nigeria is corrupt. Like, there's some areas that are very corrupt. So America, you can, in for example, the homeless, there's nothing for homeless people or people that don't have in Nigeria.
Wait. That's totally separate. I'm curious to know the answer to this as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm answering her question. If you would just let me finish, please. Okay. Thank you. So what I'm saying is, like, they come here because I just want to finish my point. They come here because America has all the resources. People come here. Why do you think a lot of people are immigrating here now? They're immigrating here because of whatever, like, political, I don't know the word I'm trying to use, but whatever, like, opposition or whatever that they're experiencing in their country. So they're coming here. America is wealthy, opportunity. America has wealth. But at the same time, if we don't unless I'm wrong, like, history, America has put their hand in every single country. Like, that's why I think people come here, like, because America, they're gonna come. And at the same time, a lot of people come here and I have a lot of aunts and uncles that come here, do what they do, and then take what they have back home and settle there. So I don't see how, like, that's why they come here. Because if Africa had all the wealth, if it was reversed, people would be going to Africa. Like, if I don't know, whatever, Asia had all of it, they would be going there.
Part of my point is that these people look like you, they look like me, all of us on this panel, right? So, but when they come here, they do well.
But they do well, but
they don't come here, or they don't refuse to come here because they say, oh, America's this racist bad.
But it is though. But my family experienced racism times a lot. There's especially
racism.
I'll say even like, that's what I'm saying. Like, they experience racism. Like, I can call my mom down here, like, came here, worked, started out cleaning, whatever, while in school, cleaning bathrooms, wiping people's whatever, while in school, and she succeeded. But she went through it. Like, but that doesn't mean, that's not to say that she didn't experience the racism.
But it's
Linda,
possible. But
out.
you are saying it's very possible to experience racism and still come out whole on the other end.
Yeah, like, I mean, I know a lot of black Americans have too. They have, like, I'm pretty, like, racism it's real. It's a thing. It's here. So I say that to say it's not, I just want people to keep in mind, like, because I know that that's like a frustrating thing for me. And even throughout the election, it's not that we're idolizing race. Like, it's just that it's in our face all the time, especially if you're a black person. We're black. We can't run.
Hold off, Linda. I see KJ shaking her head here. I want to ask KJ, when you hear my sister Linda here speak, what's your thoughts?
Victim.
Wow. Wow. I'm far from victim.
Hold on, wait, Linda. Let's let her speak. Let's let her speak.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I'm not trying to be disrespectful at all, but that's the first thing that comes to my mind. It's like excuses. You literally just said that people from all different countries, all different colors, people that look like us, leave their homeland and come here for opportunities because they know that this is the land of opportunities where you come and you grind and you can be a millionaire. Look at us on this panel.
But that doesn't mean we're not going to
go. Where can you go and create a business like we have done as women and make good money?
But you understand? But
hold on, Linda.
Okay, I'm sorry.
What I'm saying is, no one is saying racism is gone, is disappeared. It never will, because guess what? It's evil, and there's sin in the world, and it's sinful. Racism will be here until we are dead and gone. But in spite of it, we continue to thrive.
I understand that.
When you talk about Black people and these things as far as the disparities within our community, it's not due to race. It's the biggest, what the biggest harm to our community is? Single motherhood, or single parent, I should say. We don't stay together and raise our children. That is the number one factor in why we don't do as well as these other communities. These Mexicans come over here. I'm not going to say Mexicans. Latinos come over here and they do well. They all get together in a house. They pool together their money. They open a business. They open the cleaning business. They open the construction business, and they do well.
You're right.
For Trump.
No, but the thing is, they do well. But think about it. Like, they do well. They come from, I guess they have a sense of community, a sense of culture. But then I come, like, from my African heritage, I come from a sense of community and culture. Like, a lot of Black people don't feel that. Like, a lot of Black people don't feel that. And the thing, you said that I'm a victim. I don't see how I'm a victim. If a victim would be, woe is me, I can't succeed, I don't have this. How is that? When, like, I was born and raised here. I'm not saying that this makes me who I am. I'm not saying that by far, but I've definitely taken advantage of the opportunities. I have my master's degree, I have my bachelor's degree, but that doesn't mean that I'm like ignorant or unaware of these factors. And then you just said that, that's,
you're not speaking with that authority. You're not speaking with that.
No, I'm not. No, here's the thing. It's not that I'm not speaking with, I'm speaking from a place of empathy. I could easily say, let me go to, like I said, based on like my family and where I come from and the people in my family, like my career is in social work. So I work with the communities. I see what's out there. I see like the services that, and you could say this is not true, that are about to be cut for a lot of people in our community, a lot of people that need help. It's not about saying, crying victim, but it's like we really have to be aware of these things. And that's what frustrated me about this whole election. I voted for Kamala. It took me to the last day to decide to vote for her because of issues such as, the LGBTQ thing. I think it was a little much. I do. However, I understand the other side. Like, I feel like it was so crazy how Kamala, everything was Kamala this, Kamala that. I'm like, did we forget who Trump was? Like 2016 Trump? Like, I'm trying to understand. Trump that said that, during the whatever happened in Virginia, that time when I think it was the KKK or somebody like yeah. No, it wasn't a lie. Trump came out and said there were people on both sides. Like that was a news conference. It was a news conference though. Like unless my eyes are deceiving me.
No, Linda, I think you need to do a little bit more research on that actual quote.
It was cropped, right? So Linda,
there we go. This is Nicole been quiet. I want to hear my sister Nicole speak real quick.
So I just want to say, just to speak to two things that Linda said, because I work with a very large Hispanic and African community in healthcare, right? Yeah. So one thing I always tell immigrants when they tell me about the racism that they face and all of that, America is a very young country. When you look at the countries across the globe, America is a toddler when everybody else is middle-aged. We are a very young country. And yes, this young country has our fingers in everybody else's pie. This is just how we get down. It is who we are, and we are unapologetic for it. Let me tell you why. When I turn these lights off tonight in my home and I go to sleep, when I get up tomorrow, I'm going to be safe, I'm going to be protected, and my power grid is going to work. There are countries that are 5, 6, 10 times as old as we are, and that doesn't happen for them. Now, for that luxury, there are some costs. Not everybody in this country gets along. You, my dear, were fortunate enough to be born to a culture that embraces community. When we came here, when my ancestors came here, they stripped our community away from us. So we're starting at a deficit. With all of that said, I also tell these immigrants, do not let how other people treat you determine how far you're going to go in this lifetime.
Yes.
You take that, and I'm a big comic book fan. You take that racism and the people who call you dirty names, because I am very well educated. I come from the great state of Pennsylvania. They build schools like prisons and prisons like little tiny places, right? We make sure the kids get an education. I've got immigrants, undocumented as they like to call them, illegal immigrants who come to my practice and talk shit about me being a Black American. So racism happens everywhere. It's not unique to the Black community. Asians get discriminated against, Hispanics, but the difference between their community and ours, they seem to take that hate, they put it inside of them like Magneto, and they come out stronger. Our race, however, is seeming to wallow in that. And
Hold on, wait, guys. I'm really just laughing because Delano's like a little evil genius over here.
He just brought backup. He just got a backup.
He went ahead and brought some backup in.
Linda, we got some backup for you.
Don't worry, because it was 3-on-1, but now it's about to be 2-on-3, y'all.
I was holding it.
Hold on, wait. You was holding it down. No. Shout out to you, Linda. Let me get to my sister over here. Give me your name, sister.
Hey, my name is Morgan.
Morgan.
I've been on before. I'm not gonna stay on long.
Hold on. Wait, you already going crazy right now. All right, give me your age and your location. Let's take this one question at a time.
I'm 34. I'm in Atlanta. So shout out to y'all. Shout out to me being
shout
in Atlanta, Georgia.
ATL, baby.
My name is Morgan. I just had to hop on really quick. I'm looking crazy, but I had to hop on and help my sister Linda because I was hearing what she was saying, but I don't know. Like, I feel like KJ kept asking for a response and an answer to the question that was asked with regard to Africans from Africa that come over here and thrive. And I didn't feel that what Linda was saying was getting, her perspective wasn't getting over to us, communicated the way I think that it is in her head. And I understand, because when you come up here, you have the jitters and it's a lot you want to say, but you can't really get it out, right? And we didn't really prepare for this like the panelists did, right? But with saying all of that, I too work in healthcare, and I work with the various populations, yes, Hispanics and Africans. And it's hard to get, I mean, you may have some understanding of the culture in that sense, but it's nothing like being directly immersed in it. And so I have best friends who are Nigerian. So shout out to Nigeria. My best friend is Evo. She's a doctor in Connecticut. And then I have several other Nigerian friends who are Yoruba, Hausa, Delta, all of it. Okay. And so what I will say on this point is that, or what we were just speaking about, is that when Africans come here to America, straight from Africa, they have an agenda. The agenda is to get money, to thrive, to send it home, and eventually go back home and build a house, home, whatever, and do things there. They have not experienced what Americans living here have experienced. So when they come here, they don't understand to the same level and capacity of what we have dealt with. They also don't have people who have been here over centuries to have all of that recurring happenings and events in their mind that ultimately do affect us. We hold it. We know, oh, my grandfather got beat. All the time, my homeboys are getting stopped for no reason. All the things that happen as a result of racism. They come here and it's not understood. And I'm telling you, I speak in Yoruba like half the day to my friends who are teaching me. So I'm constantly speaking to Nigerians all the time. And I will say that they were voting for Trump. Trump is great. Oh, we're conservative. Oh, I'm a Republican. It's because they don't have any sentiment of the African American people here. They're Africans. They like Black people. They like all people, white people, Asian people, as we all should, right? But we have a different sentiment as African Americans who have experienced racism, and it has been within us, in our families. We know experiences, and we understand and identify what racism looks like differently than them. If someone says something to them, they don't know that it's a racist statement. I'm gonna shut up. But when we hear somebody say something, ultimately our light bulb goes off like, oh, that was something racist. It's not the same for them. So to say that they come here and they thrive and they're okay, where we might be of the same, we might all be melanated, right? But we are not the same. It's not the same in our minds. Living here, being from here, and coming over here for a purpose.
There you go, Morgan. All right, there you go. So let me go ahead. First of all, I just love, we gotta get that zoom in button on KJ. Okay, we gotta zoom in on KJ's face. Okay, KJ, what's your thoughts, sister? That face, speak them thoughts.
I mean, when I think of, and I know a lot of people in the African community, in the Caribbean community, and they're about making money. They can't make excuses when it's about making money. I feel like a lot of times, and I'm a foundational Black American, okay? But I feel like when you talk to people outside of American Black, they're about working hard. They're about, they understand that the stuff that we're talking about that happened thousands of years ago, hundreds of years ago, they know they're coming from far worse. And so the gripes that we complain about here in the United States that happened hundreds of years ago, we're so far removed. They're thinking like, I'm here to make money. If y'all going to sit here and wallow and talk about racism and things that happened to your great-great-grandparents and all this type of stuff, I don't have time for it. I'll make the money you leaving on the table. That's what I hear. This is why we had so many people, immigrants, Mexicans, Africans, all over the continent that are citizens and came here and voted for Trump because they saw how much money was being taken out of their pockets, how the economy was so bad and did so poorly under Harris and Kamala and Biden, and under Trump it was much better. And they're not here for all these excuses. Again, I am not saying there is no racism. I know that there's racism. My neighbor could be racist, but if they do something to me based off of racism, I call the police. Police come and handle it. If I am discriminated on work and my job, there's a channel for me to follow to get it handled. We can do that in the law now. So again, yes, do some things sneak through the cracks and things like that? Of course. But for the most part, our predicament is not due to racism.
It really isn't.
It's just not.
But
it really isn't.
So, okay.
Can I ask another question? Question real quick.
1 second.
Hold on, wait.
Yeah.
I want to hear my sister Shelly question real quick.
Okay,
Let me get my sister Shelly. What's the question?
Is there any area, any problem, if you will, that Black people may face or do face that is not associated or due to racism? Anything that you would say?
No.
When it comes to
we have been oppressed, and that is the underlying issue. So KJ
this is why we say racism is idolized, because if you can't,
that's not an idol. That's a fact.
You can't say that there's nothing that you can think of that racism is not the cause of when it comes to Black people. I don't even know where to go with that. I mean,
can I say this? It's not. It's again. I will. Until Jesus comes back, I will say it is. I mean, I don't idolize it, and I understand people that bring it up. Again, I'll say we're not pulling from 1800s or 19 Jim Crow. We're talking about things that you can pull up today. Now, here's the thing: we say that we have now in 2024, Black people can do this, Black people can do that, but we also have to understand that a lot of federal policies and a lot of federal laws were put in place from like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 generations ago. So like you talked about, can I just finish?
The largest employer for Black people is the federal government. The Black people don't shy away from working for the federal government.
But what I'm saying, like during the civil rights era, a lot of what we are reaping, a lot of what Black Americans are reaping from are because of those things, because there were laws in place that didn't allow Black people to do anything. So what, like, if we say, so like,
you're saying nothing has changed? Nothing has changed?
I'm saying that no, I'm saying everything changed because of those laws. So now we have a new, now it's like, oh, everything's gonna be great because Trump is in office, right? That's what's gonna happen, right? Everything, okay, no problem. So
great in 2016.
We're saying that Trump has nothing to do with Project 2025. I mean, why would he admit to having anything to do with Project 2025? What I'm saying is that a lot of these federal policies, for example, the Voting Rights Act of 1960 that was put in place, right? That was stripped, right? That's not there. It's not there anymore. Am I wrong? The Voting Rights Act of 1960. I could be wrong.
Did you vote? Did you vote?
She voted Kamala. And I did too.
No, did you vote? What I'm saying is, did you vote?
But I did vote. But what I'm saying is the voting. But the thing is, the voting rights. If we understand why the Voting Rights Act was put in place to like deter a lot of like racist actions that take place for Black people that want to vote. I'm just saying,
what
like
what Black person like, do you know is not able to vote today?
I'm sorry.
What Black people or person?
That's not what she's saying. What she's saying is that there has been incremental change.
Yes, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the Voting Rights Act was put in place because of things that were happening when Black people and people of other races and people from other cultures, whatever, wanted to vote. Like we
we are not saying history. There was no racism. How are we being affected today?
Oh my God!
There has been little to no change today.
This is what I'm saying.
Really, there's been no change.
There's little to no change. Little to no change.
If there has been.
Well, y'all on the same team. Y'all on the same team.
Yeah, right? Right. Let me take over, Linda. It has been little to slight incremental changes from forever, but that still does not amount to a great change. We are still got our foot on our neck from oppression, and it's going to take years and years of resolve. So y'all want to come to this?
Hold on.
How do things not change? Did a Black woman just not run to be the president of the United States? That sounds like a whole lot of change from the 1960s.
What I'm saying,
like a world of change.
So what does change look like then? Yes. What does change look like for you?
Change looks like we don't have the same police brutality today as we did in the 1800s. You talking about call the cops?
Why is that? Oh my God!
We need to stop speaking in these generalizations.
If you really do,
it's not a generalization.
Let me tell you why. Oh my God! Let me tell you why. Oh my God!
Hold on, wait. Let her answer.
Roland Fryer, a prominent Black economist at Harvard, a prominent, has done research. Now, his research on police brutality towards Black people and other groups, let me tell you what it showed. It showed that police are not brutal. They're not killing Black people more than other groups. They are very hesitant to do so. Now, his research also showed that as far as interactions and maybe rudeness, maybe arrested people, Black people may be more arrested. But as far as killing, the brutality, no. Other groups are, other people are. This is a Black economist at Harvard. Go look it up. Don't take my word for it. Go look up his research.
I'll look up the FBI and I'll look up all the other research and statistics too, and just
you look at the FBI.
I'll look up his research.
It doesn't show.
Hold on, ladies. Hold on, ladies. Listen.
One person.
Let me tell you. No, honestly, I'm actually. This has inspired me because I see this is a whole nother show that we could really delve into really deeply on this topic, because it's actually something that we have not, spoke about.
Does racism
and we got an all Black audience, right? So this is, and a lot of people are standing on very different sides of the fence, because some people are saying this is an absolute victim mentality that's hurting the growth and the development and evolution of our community. And other people saying we absolutely are stifled by our oppression, and this is something that is literally stopping our growth.
Right.
So, I think it's a very important conversation to have. What I do know, ladies, is we not about to find a damn solution tonight. I'll tell you that much. And in fact,
shout out to the politics for having some good win, though.
No, man, let me tell you
like y'all
something.
might be ready for that action. Y'all ready to go to midnight.
Absolutely. Hey, first of all, shout out to you, Morgan, for jumping in. You saw your friend getting jumped on. You jumped right in. She said, I wasn't having this, sis.
Right. Linda and Morgan tag team.
I appreciate that.
Thanks, Morgan.
Listen, this is, and I want y'all to understand this, because sometimes y'all can hop on Harlem Initiated and y'all be like, what the hell be going on Harlem Initiated? But we got to have a platform, y'all, where we can sit together and have difference of opinion and still walk away with love, because these are still a very important conversations that need to be had. And listen, this is all within the same community. You're talking about this. We ain't even really start getting busy and introducing different races and cultures. This is all within our community that we have in this level of dysfunction and difference of opinion. So again, what I want to do is thank you, Linda, and Morgan, both, for joining the conversation. Thank you so much. And I also want to thank the ladies from Poppin' Politics. I rock with Nicole. Nicole just kind of sat back and kind of watched everything play out around in the fourth quarter things.
What I did.
Hey, let me tell you, I appreciate KJ and Shelly's fiery spirit. I appreciate you guys' perspective. This was a wealth of knowledge for a lot of people to hear something different if you did not, agree with what was being stated. And for those who already, voted Republican, you already probably were familiar with some of the things, or maybe even learned some things yourself. So big shout out to the Pop and Politics page.
Right.
Go follow those sisters. They got a young page over there. They putting out some really dope content out there that I think a lot of you guys would be very interested in checking out.
I want to say I'm very proud of y'all. I'm very proud of y'all for educating yourselves and also, taking the time to share with us on our platform. And this is the thing, after having y'all on the show, I'm not surprised at the growth of y'all's YouTube channel. And if y'all keep going like this, y'all's going to have a huge platform. So I look forward to seeing that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having us. Nice to talk.
You had a blast. Thank you so much.
Of course.
We loved your audience. We love them.
Oh yeah, listen. Well, listen. Go ahead and swing it to the ladies and make sure they don't have any final words to say before we close out here.
Absolutely. Go ahead, ladies. Is there anything that y'all wanted to do to say to the people to close out?
I'll start out. I did want to say this, just real quick. I think it's important for us all to be educated, not just listening to pundits like us, on MSNBC, CNN, Fox, whatever. Actually go to the actual databases and look up this information and then form our own opinions on the actual data. 2020, 17 unarmed Black men were killed by police. 25 unarmed white men were killed in that same year. 2015, 38 unarmed Black men were killed. 2015, 31 unarmed white men were killed. We are not, any life lost is terrible and it's too much. but we're not experiencing it on the way that some of the callers were presenting it. We're not being gunned down in the street. It's not brutal. Well, the only way we are is in the cities, like where we are in Baltimore, but it's people that look like us that's doing it. So, I mean, we got to get out of this victim mentality. We got to get out of it because there's money to be made out here. Our families, we can do this for our families, for the next generation. So I pray that so many of us get out of this, stop listening to celebrities who have made millions of dollars on the backs of us buying their records and things and just want us to keep us at a low class. Stop listening to these pundits that want to grift off of the Black community and just really, really look into the data. So, but thank you guys for having us on. Again, we're Popping Politics on YouTube. That's our page. We're smart, edgy. We're very edgy. We were tame tonight. And we are conservative. So thank you so much.
Yeah, I would say thank you for having us. I loved your audience, the people who came on. Even though we disagree, you're right. We all can kind of walk away, go off of this channel, and still have respect for one another. So I appreciate that conversation. I'm going to say what I say, or what I've said many times on our show, that what we need to do is we need to stand up, we need to speak up, we need to strap up, and we need to show up. And if we don't do those things, and yes, Ryan, I'm a 2A, you're in my community, but that's what we need to do. We need to do that. And we need to have conversations like this, pushback, disagreement, whatever the case may be. We need to have this. And you're right, this is our community. So just imagine on the platform tonight, just imagine this amplified all over the country. We need to have these discussions. We need to have the information. We need to have the facts, the data, and able to have spaces where we can have respectful, even disagreeing in those conversations. So again, I thank you for having us.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Nicole, did you want to say anything for the people?
For sure. I want to thank you guys for having us. It's such a blessing anytime that we can get our message out and engage with our own community. Secondly, I really, really want to say that your callers, the people who called into the show, are so articulate and so smart and really brought their A game to their comments. I know it's a little difficult when you're not used to doing videos and that kind of thing, but you really did get to see their heart. No one called in mean-spirited. And we at BCF say all the time, the Black Conservative Federation, we can disagree without being disagreeable. And I say that's a very Black thing. That's something that our community, has worked toward over generations. And we're at a point now where having these important conversations will move us forward. Now, whether it's forward for everybody, and there's always going to be some people who are just disagreeable and we can't do anything about that. But I would offer an olive branch to the Democrats and other people who voted for Kamala Harris and say, give this new inspiration of America a chance, right? Come and get some of this love that's going to come out of this. Come and get some tax breaks and some money, better education for children. Don't sit out. Be an active participant in the comeback of this great nation.
There you have it. Thank you guys so much. I want to let everybody know, y'all, I really want y'all to help us out because we are right at the edge, hardly initiated, of 400,000 subscribers. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button and allow us to hit that thing tonight, y'all.
And real quick, shout out to Yvonne Gatlin says, why does it always have to be about race? Has always been the response from white people who refuse to take accountability for our country. And the last one, we got Kim K, who says, shout out to KJ for spitting facts over feelings. Black people got too many excuses. Guys, we're going to have another conversation. Don't worry.
Oh, yeah. We absolutely going to bring this here, guys. I want to let you guys know.
More importantly, talk about that.
Yeah, here is how you go ahead and support the platform. A lot of you guys send us emails and DMs on how to do so. So we always let you know here at the end of the show. So we appreciate all of your love offerings. We use it to put, let me tell you, we put it right back into the platform here so we can have some very important conversations here that are just relevant to our culture, that are relevant to our living room and kitchen tables, and are relevant to our day-to-day lives, y'all. And that's what's important to us.
Send a little extra. My birthday coming up Sunday.
Oh man, Ryan's birthday.
Turn a big 3-6.
Ryan's birthday is actually coming up.
I appreciate that, ladies. Thank you.
Yeah. That's happening next week. Very excited about that. And for those of you who may not have heard what I said prior, This Monday, we are doing a massive testimony episode. If you have seen some of the episodes that we've had over the past week about homosexuality, we've got a lot of emails from our initiates that said that they've had full deliverance from homosexuality.
Yeah.
Really a testament to, and really opposite to what was stated in the debate that we had, that was possible. So we're going to show that all things are possible.
I don't know if y'all can see that. These are all the voicemails. These are all the voicemails I've been getting from y'all. Please, I don't know how y'all found my number. Please start calling me, because I'm not going to answer. I do not answer for the phone for unknown numbers. Only a couple people got lucky.
So check it out. info@hardlyinitiated.com is how you go about reaching out to us. That's info@hardlyinitiated.com. If you have a testimony that you think needs to be shared, send it over to us, because you might be able to join us on Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern time. And y'all know every Monday and Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern time, Hardly Initiated is here. We love you guys. We appreciate you guys. And y'all already know how we do it. Hardly Initiated. We are out.